Sports 56 Middays is also brought to you by Davis Motorhome Marts.
From the top on down, here comes a 1-2 pitch. Red Sox win the World Series, and the best team in baseball wins it all in 2018.
The Tigers reclaim their crown by crushing Alabama.
Brady under center, victory formation, takes the snap, falls to a knee, and that'll do it. The New England Patriots have won.
And Virginia with the all-time turnaround title.
We, the North, are now we, the champions. The Raptors, the 2019 NBA champs.
Now, here are your hosts for Sports 56 Middays, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
Out in the countryside, lay back and smell the sun, warm up the Georgia pie. Feels so good to be taking it easy. Why would I ever leave? 'Cause I know I got some good.
Happy Friday, everybody, and welcome into another edition of Sports 56 Middays. Hope your morning is off to a great start. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoie, Austin Eldridge in the Family Leisure Studios, where family and fun come together. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. It's the Friday, September 27th, 2019 edition of Sports 56 Middays with Eli, Austin, and myself. Sports 56 Middays delivered each and every day by our title and presenting sponsor, FedEx. Visit FedEx.com/e-commerce to see how to turn browsers into buyers, learn how FedEx can help you take your business to the next level. Coming up on the program today, we'll look back at the Tigers' win over Navy, a very strange game to say the least, but I can tell you one thing. The boys in the desert are pretty good at what they do. Tigers win by 12. The line was 11.5, and Navy was in control of that game for the most part. The Tigers come back. I'm sure you're going to want to comment, folks. So certainly this first hour will do a lot with the Tigers and Navy. First Bank phone lines 360-8255. First Bank text line 67129. Message us at Sports 56 WHBQ on Facebook, Periscope, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. At 11 o'clock, John Varlas will join us as he does every Friday to talk some prep football. At 12 o'clock, Drew Hill from the Daily Memphian on the University of Memphis basketball team. Practice got underway this week. He's got a great series that he has just gotten underway on the Tigers and some of the players to look out for this year. We'll have Drew explain it to you coming up at 12. He does an outstanding job covering the Tigers. And Barrett Sallee at 12:25 from CBS Sports and Sirius XM College Radio on, obviously, college football. We'll have 10 in a row, the game show that has swept the nation. The Grizzlies released a medical update on their players as camp begins on Tuesday. We'll be there Monday for Media Day, but camp will begin Tuesday, and we'll update you as well on what they had to say. And a little NFL last night. The Eagles in a must-win situation, and they got that win over the Green Bay Packers. It's all coming up on a very busy Friday edition of Sports 56 Middays. Well, kind of wacky last night, to say the least. By the way, they announced 33,000. To me, again, I understand the old, you take up 3 seats if you're a large human being. But it seemed like a much bigger crowd than that. But whatever it was, whatever they announced, Eli, it was a pretty interesting night because the first half there was some booing going on and some questions with arms in the air of what the hell are we doing here if you're a Tigers fan. And then the second half was a perfect half for the Tigers.
Yeah, you really got to give the Tiger defense credit because it could have been easy to get worn down. I mean, in the first half, the time of possession was ridiculously in the advantage of Navy partially because the Tigers had a 75-yard touchdown on their first play and then the kickoff return for the touchdown. So they just did not have the ball. I think they had 7 minutes of possession in the first half of that game. So certainly this is one of the things Navy can do to you with their ball control. You end up having your defense, and then when you start making quick scores, you put even more pressure because they're just constantly on the field. and only give up 3 points in the second half was a really impressive showing by the Tiger defense. It was the last night was kind of, you saw the differences between these teams. I mean, Memphis, with the athletes that they have and the big play explosive ability, we saw that fully on display. Navy is more of the, we're going to grind you out, pound the ball. Malcolm Perry certainly is a fantastic athlete at quarterback and fast as heck and does a lot of great things, but they just want to grind you to a slow death. And Memphis just showed that's fine and dandy, but boom, there we go. We'll match you with one play. And in the end, Brady White, as Brady is one of the weirdest things. Like, it's a phenomenon to me, in that as much as people talk so badly, like people, even Tiger fans, just cannot stand having Brady White, it seems, as the quarterback of this team. In the end, you look at his numbers and they always seem to be pretty good. It is a really weird thing with him. I mean, and what he, from the throw last night that everybody booed was horrendous. Like, that is he basically had two options on the play. He could have run for, I don't know how long, because there was nobody out there in front of him. So he could have ran. But instead, he sees a receiver who's wide open 20 yards downfield or whatever. So he says, hey, why should I run when I could just throw to that guy? And sailed it like 10 yards over the guy's head. I mean, it's as bad a throw as you'll see a quarterback at that level make. Like, to just miss a guy wide open by that much, you just don't see it. So the crowd boos. And then from that point on, like, he was fantastic. Like, he was great. And it's just like, how do you make that throw? And then all of a sudden, like, boom, from that point on, you're amazing.
Well, a couple of things, and he talked about it in the press conference. He was, for whatever the reason was, and he's now had a lot of games under his belt, he was nervous. He was not his normal, calm, collected self. And Mike Norvell had to go over to the bench when he came back off the field and talk to him and calm him down. And I don't know what the reason was, but he was unnerved for some reason. Maybe because of the national spotlight that they were in. And that's not good. That's not good for your leader. That's not good when it's your quarterback, because you're going to have, if you're going to have one of those special years, those spotlight games. But for whatever reason, and maybe it was the booing that he took to heart. He's got his parents up in the stands. He has his girlfriend up in the stands. They're listening to the booing. They're taking it harder than he is. But he comes back and makes all the throws. And like you said, when you started your little recap there, he's about as strange a player as you could possibly find, because when it's all said and done, you look at his numbers, he threw 4 incompletions. He did not throw an interception, threw 3 touchdown passes. So the numbers, and Brady White, if he doesn't do what he did in the second half, they don't win the football game, even though that defense turned it around. But it was a combination of a lot of things. The special teams, Pete Lembo's special teams, has been tremendous this year. And not just on returns, but on coverage, on getting to the punter. They didn't get to the punter last night, but they have been tremendous. So there was a lot of reasons why they ended up winning that game. But early on, they looked lost. And here's the thing. You know what Navy's going to do. Ken Niumatalolo was on the show with us on Tuesday. He said, we're going to throw it a little bit more, but we are who we are. We run the triple option offense. First play, misdirection, and they go the other way for 45 yards, whatever it was. Over pursuit by the defense. We saw that a few times. But whatever adjustments Fuller and his defense made in the second half, they were tremendous.
Caller called in, by the way, said he couldn't get on the air, but he wanted to know if there was more scrutiny on the offensive line, would Brady White take as much heat, or is it still mostly on Brady White and the offensive line's been okay?
Well, I certainly, we were talking about that a little bit on the broadcast last night. The pass protection of that offensive line is not the best, although it got better. They're blocking on runs pretty much is really, really good consistently. But I defer to our very own Gabe Kuhn. I was reading a tweet because somebody asked him the same question, and I'm paraphrasing here. He basically said, they're not great, but they still did a pretty good job. Yeah. And Brady was running for his life there in that first half. But here's the thing. When they rolled him out on the touchdown pass to Kadarian Jones, that was a nice adjustment by Mike Norvell to get him out of the pocket because they were breaking through. But the O-line did a much better job protecting for him in the second half. And I understand that touchdown pass was in the second half.
And Mike Norvell said afterwards that Navy busted out some plays that they just had not seen from them in, as he said, 6-7 years. Like if you went way back, you might see that. But they ran some stuff that they just hadn't seen, which speaks to the fact that Navy in the first 2 games, 2 easy blowout wins, they didn't have to show a whole lot. So they hadn't showed a whole lot yet this year. But the thing to it, and I keep, because after the game I was talking to people, and everybody's complaining about Brady White. Like, it is what people do. They complain about Brady White. It is just funny. I'm like, he threw 4 incompletions, and they won the game again. Like, they win games. His numbers are good. People complain. Like, that's the thing with Brady White. It is a very strange thing that you just don't see very often. And I get some of the complaining, and then at the other side, I'm like, well, they keep winning, and his numbers at the end end up always pretty darn solid. So I don't know. Somebody did text in on the First Bank text line. They said, guys, I am by no means a Brady White fan, but booing a college kid is wrong. I mean, you can get into that whole, it's big time college football. Fans are going to boo. It just is. Booing to some extent is acceptable. What's not acceptable is the personal attacks on social media on this guy. I mean, it is absolutely crazy. But it's ludicrous what they're doing and what they're saying about him on social media. A lot of people hiding behind aliases. By the way, we're wide open right now. You want to call in and blast Brady White, or you want to praise Brady White, you want to praise the Tigers, you want to blast, whatever you want to do, you have a forum every single day on this program. And right now, that's what we're doing. So First Bank phone lines are open at 360-8255. First Bank text line, 67129. If you were one of the people booing last night, tell us, explain. Again, you don't have to. It's your prerogative to do whatever you want in the game. And in that first half, he was atrocious. But look what he did. And as you said, Eli, when it all comes down to it, most of the time, his numbers are really good. Well, here's the thing, too. That's what I tell people. Listen, if you think there's going to be a change at quarterback, you couldn't be further from correct. Like, Mike Norvell, I was going to go back and listen, but in the post-game press conference, Mike Norvell called him a special kid 4, 5, maybe 6 times. Like, he constantly talks about how special he is. He said, I'm happy to coach him. He is a special guy. Mike Norvell really likes Brady White and likes Brady White as his quarterback. He's not making a change. So if you're a fan, you just accept the fact Brady White is going to be the quarterback of this team for the rest of this year and for next year, barring injury. All right, let's go to the First Bank phone lines and start with Thomas. Hey, Thomas.
Hey, guys, how you doing?
Doing well, thank you.
Big win last night. I got now looking at the fact that Memphis not gonna face too many more teams. I don't think they're gonna face another team this year that run that triple option like Navy and Army and Air Force does. So I'm a lot more confident in now after seeing what happened last night. After Fuller made some big time adjustments at halftime. I think he kind of moved the linebackers up a little closer to the line, but I know they stayed in that lane and made some great individual tackles. Now, as far as Brady White goes, I was very critical of him last night. We sitting in the stands I went to the game with one of my cousins and some of the other people around him. They were booing him unmercifully last night. But I don't know what Mike Norvell really sees in White. I think he might have been a little nervous last night too, Greg. But
you know what he probably sees in him? Those 3 touchdowns and a couple of 100 yards and no interceptions in the second half. That's probably what he sees in him. Win.
You know what? I get it to him for making that tells me he has some intestinal fortitude.
Yeah.
To hear those boos and then come back and just And he didn't throw but 4 incompletions in the whole game and no interception.
Yeah.
It's just that I know that those 2 plays where he made that one, Antonio Gibson was wide open.
Yeah. Look, he admitted after the game how he blew that opportunity, and I know the frustrations from the fans. I think a lot of it came out because he did not run, and he doesn't show defenses on film. They don't see that he wants to run the ball, so he becomes one-dimensional, and that could be an issue moving forward.
You know what? Something else, Greg. I was looking last night. I was seeing where Navy was making some adjustments on the line before Memphis made the snap, and I don't think he was reading those defenses real well.
They were shifting a lot. They absolutely were. All right, Thomas, thank you, my friend.
Okay, guys, thank you.
Appreciate the call.
A couple of texts here. The first big text line says, we would have killed for Brady White before Paxton and Ferguson. I remember Archulon Hall. Yeah, I mean, think back to some of the quarterbacks they went through in the bleak years. I mean, it's there were some bad ones. Somebody else says he came right back with a touchdown pass after the bad throw. Yeah, I mean, again, his ability to just move along was amazing. Like the place is booing him, and he comes right back, touchdown, and then literally from that point on, I know a lot of people got upset about his other one where he probably could have ran and he just threw it out of the back of the end zone. That wasn't missing a receiver; he was just throwing it away. And yeah, he probably could have ran that and taken the positive yardage, and I would like to see him do that as well. But he was just making sure they didn't make a costly mistake.
And here's the thing: is he not running because he doesn't want contact, or is he not running because Mike Norvell and his coaches say, listen, throw the ball. We don't want you running and getting popped and getting hurt. I mean, there could be something to that because after him, then you would have Connor Adair, who's looked good in mop-up duty, but they're not ready to turn the reins over to somebody else. As you said, Brady White is their guy.
This is one I was talking about a little bit, the press box last night or something. Somebody says, Norvell needs to tell White to take the yards when they're given to him. The read option is one-dimensional if you never keep the ball.
Exactly.
Defense just always keys on the running back. It's so predictable. If you do watch some of those, like White will carry out the fake, like running around the end, and literally there's not one defender there. And it's like, okay, if you're going to do that, just once in a blue moon, you have to keep the ball to at least show them you will keep the ball.
Exactly. You have to show it on tape for your opponents to look and say, listen, he doesn't run a lot, but every once in a while he will. It's like you prepare for Navy. Every once in a while they're going to throw the football. And they did last night, and they completed some good passes, including a touchdown pass. Let's go to Marty on the First Bank phone lines. Hi, Marty.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey, Marty.
Hey, I've been a fan for 35 years. That was probably the worst half I've seen in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But what amazed me, it's like he wasn't there. One time you could see they had a full-on blitz. Everybody on the line, he never picked it up.
Yeah, he took a bad sack. That was because that was the one that knocked him back for that
was that the fumble?
No, yeah, that was the fumble. That was the running play that got him out of the field goal range.
We've got it back. But then sometimes he does this crap like he was open for 30 yards, could have run. Just get the first down. Just get the damn first down. As far as fans booing, let me tell you something. I'll holler at them in a minute till them get their head out of it. But I'll brag for them, too. I don't care if mom and daddy or anybody's around me. I burned at the race.
Right. I understand.
But whatever, I don't know what happened in the second half. In the locker room. But you tell me they come out this second half and they wanted it.
Yeah,
they got out there and wanted it.
The second half was fantastic.
Yeah. But as far as Brady White, we've been spoiled a little bit, but Brady's not that fast. He just ain't fast.
Thank you, Marty. Appreciate the phone call.
Again, every single week last year I'd go over stats and you look at where he ranks in the country in various statistical categories, but yet it's like you would think he's throwing 46 interceptions and 3 touchdowns in his career.
Well, you're also a bit spoiled when you have Paxton Lynch, first-round NFL pick, and I know he's been a bust so far in the NFL, but he was great in college, and then followed up with Riley Ferguson, a great story with him coming out of seemingly nowhere, working a 9-to-5, and becoming a very prolific quarterback in Memphis Tigers lore. Keith is next. Hi, Keith.
Hey.
Hey.
Yeah, so I don't understand these Brady White haters. I just don't really understand them. He should have run on that one play where he threw it out of the end zone. He should have. He had an easy first down. Everything was wide open, but he comes right back with a touchdown pass.
Mm-hmm.
He comes right back with it. He just don't make many mistakes. And that's huge against a team like Nate. I mean, it's really huge. I mean, because they don't make many mistakes. They're very disciplined. They do what they do. So I just don't understand it. I mean, I love the boy. I mean, I think he's great. So,
all right. Thank you, Keith. I appreciate
that's
it.
my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Well, and the thing too, I mean, I love his attitude is great. I mean, after the game, when asked about that 130, he's like, that was terrible. Like, it was awful. I was embarrassed. Like you did. And so, there
are some athletes that can hear those boos and they can sink into a hole. And there's others that can triumph.
Like he knew, he understood. Like they're booing. That was a horrendous throw. Like
no,
he said, made a terrible throw. Like I get why they're booing.
All right, let me go to Mark. Hey, Mark, how are you? Mark,
hey guys, how's it going?
Going well, thank you.
Hey, great. I'm in Cookville. My daughter goes to Tennessee Tech, and I want to tell you we got a pretty good contingent of Tiger fans. About 20 or so here in town.
In Cookville?
At Buffalo's last night. Yeah, in Cookville.
Very nice.
Cool. Yeah, guys, I've always, I've been a big fan of Brady. Now, I've criticized him in the past about, his arm strength, playing with a wet ball last year.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there was a lot more factors involved. Coach Norvell finally last night made the adjustments at halftime that we hadn't done the last couple of years, other than his first year. We outcoached that Novi crew, and that's saying a lot, I think. One of the biggest things with Brady, I never knew this. ESPN popped up, said that he's the career percentage leader in history for the school.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I know there are a lot of short passes and a lot of things, but, hey, the deep ball last night worked perfectly when we needed it. The guy, get off the guy's case, we just came through two of the best quarterbacks in our school's history. I mean, we were spoiled, guys.
Yeah.
Hey, for 49 years, I saw a lot of bad football. I remember 3,000 fans and a 3-0 tie on Monsoon against Arkansas State.
You don't want to go back to those times.
And my dad liked to be there to watch them line the field. So, we were there 3 hours getting wet before.
Right. Yeah, that's a diehard. That's a diehard.
With tours, beer cans, and peanuts everywhere.
Yeah, wow.
So, but guys, fans, I know, I think that the enthusiasm was awesome about the football program. I know basketball is going to be really special. If we got something that could really be special in this school's history, and man, let's back them up. Hey, I think we all need to wear the Duck Dynasty beards. Everybody go to Monroe. I think it's only about a 4-hour drive. Let's do blue Duck Dynasty beards and fill that place up next week.
Thank you, Mark. Appreciate it. Yeah, there are some fans that have been known to wear the actually the real beards, not fake, with the blue coloring in there. Let me squeeze in on a couple more before the break. Randall is next. Hi, Randall.
Good morning, fellas. How are y'all?
Morning.
Good, man.
I'm a big Brady White fan. I think the young man is doing a good job. I played quarterback, so I can relate to the booing. You play quarterback. You play big-time college sports, period. You're going to get booed, you're going to get cussed, and you're going to get called names. You just have to deal with it. I mean, that the good comes with the bad. If you play good, you're Mr. Hit.
Mm-hmm.
But if you play bad, you're Mr. Something else.
No, you're right, Randall. I mean, and a lot worse has happened, and we're certainly not condoning it, but back in the day, they throw things at the players. So, it's a little bit worse than back in the day worse than verbal attacks. But, booing is booing. I mean, I'm fine with boos. It's just the personal attacks now. We live in a world with social media, and things that people have said about Brady White are absolutely ridiculous. You could like him, you could dislike him, but my gosh, stop with the personal attacks.
Yeah, Greg, and I feel the same way. I mean, these are 20-year-olds. I mean, the filthy language and the name calling, these are grown people doing that. That's totally uncalled for.
Thank you, Randall.
And the bottom line is this. It's just like the 70s Raiders said. Last time I checked, the young man is 4-0. Just win, baby.
Just win, baby. Thank you,
right.
Randall. Appreciate the phone call. David Troy, please, if you can, hang in through the break. We have to take a break. We got two open lines, 360-8255. Talking Tigers, Navy, talking Brady White. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk. Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Search Sports 56 on Facebook and give us a like. And follow us on Twitter at Sports 56 WHBQ.
At CDW, we get that you need a network that keeps your business moving forward.
Us for not. Backwards everything, do we?
Either way, CDW has experts who can design and implement a secure, innovative network built on Cisco DNA that learns and adapts to your needs to keep your business moving forward.
Idea good as that.
IT orchestration by CDW. It get who people. I mean, people who get it. Find out more at cdw.com/Cisco.
Hey, you doing, people? And if it's a Chevy you're looking for, any new Chevy, Olive Branch is where you need to go. New 2020 Silverados and Blazers are at All-Star Chevrolet, ready for you to drive today. Traverse, Equinox, Impala, best new All-Star Chevy lineup ever. And most have 0 for 72 financing. So give these Chevys a test run. Roll the windows down. Enjoy the weather. Crank the music up. Pretend like the car is going to be yours, because it is going to be yours. And best of all, All-Star has the ABCs. A, the All-Star Challenge. Take any written offer from any Mid-South auto dealer to All-Star Chevrolet, and you can get a better deal, new or pre-owned, or they buy you a tank of gas. B, best buying experience, period. No wasting your time. They make it easy. And C, customer care. You're all in. Loaner cars, free oil changes. It's the All-Star family, and they're going to treat you like that. It's not South Haven, not the Pike, not Collierville. It's got to be Olive Branch. Find new roads to All-Star Chevrolet or go to allstarautogroup.com.
Hi, folks. Rob Walker, Infinity of Memphis, and we've got a new Infinity crossover vehicle that has raised the standard of comparison to a new level. Imagine having both sports car performance and eco-friendly efficiency on demand, working together to empower every driving experience. The result of 20 years of engineering, QX50's award-winning variable compression turbo engine is the world's only engine of its kind. Like two engines in one, it delivers a combination of power and efficiency that is truly in a category all its own, and only Infinity has it. You'll never sacrifice performance for the sake of efficiency again. And QX50 MSRP starts at only $36,550, which is less than its Acura, Audi, and Mercedes competitors. Add to that QX50's award-winning sumptuous interior, and you have the best combination of performance and comfort in the mid-size crossover segment.
MSRP excludes destination charge, tax, title, license, and options. Infinity of Memphis or online at infinityofmemphis.com.
Hi, this is Troy Five Ash, owner of Five Ash Roofing. It's an exciting time to be a Memphis Tiger fan, and we at Five Ash Roofing have decided to share our excitement. We are proud members of the Tigers home team, which means we sponsor the Tigers athletic department, and we're also season ticket holders to both the football and basketball programs. We will be giving away 2 and sometimes 4 tickets to most of the games this coming year. To have a chance at winning the tickets, find our Facebook page, like, and share our post. The more you share, the more chances you have to win. We also want to give away some tickets to those who wouldn't otherwise get a chance to go. So you can go to memphisroofer.com or 5ash.com and send us a note why you or someone you know should get the tickets. And as always, 5Ash Roofing is fair, honest, and ethical. We're experts in all forms of roofing for both residential and commercial buildings. 5Ash Roofing, 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
5Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. I Buy Houses. I Buy Houses will buy a house in any area, in any condition, and yes, it's guaranteed to close in 5 days. If you need to sell your home quickly, call 901-406-1101. If you've been through a divorce, if you lost your job, if you're tired of renters, I Buy Houses can get you your money quickly. I Buy Houses will buy your home in Shelby County, DeSoto County, Memphis, Bartlett, South Haven, Horn Lake, Olive Branch, anywhere and everywhere in between in any condition. And yes, they're open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Grab that pen, 901-406-1101. I Buy Houses.
Football is here. I know. I have a sports talk radio show. Why do you always have to throw that in my face? Because it's fun. Now, let's get down to the Central Barbecue ad. We're talking the incredible bulk. I have no idea what that means. Tailgating in Central Barbecue means this is the time for bulk ordering. Oh, I get it. Incredible bulk. Yes. You call ahead and order enough delicious Central Barbecue food to feed your entire tailgating crew. Central Barbecue is your one-stop shopping destination for all your chowing down needs. And with all their locations. Central Avenue, Summer Avenue, downtown, or the shiny new location on Poplar. There's a Central Barbecue central to wherever Memphians are. Nice line.
Got something you want to get off your chest?
You better have a backup plan.
Want to join the conversation?
Someone needs to tell him he has to grow up.
Join us on the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255 or the First Bank text line at 67129. Now, back to Sports 56 Middays delivered by FedEx. This hour is also brought to you by Davis Motor Home Mart. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
Welcome back, everybody. Hour one of the program. We're going to get right back to your calls and your texts in a second on the Tigers. Oh, by the way, I'm sure you've noticed, or did notice last night, big plays, the story of the game for the Tigers. 3 scoring plays of 70-plus yards, including young Gabriel Rogers with a 99-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. That was huge because when you think about it, the Tigers were easily outplayed by Navy, yet went to the locker room only down 6 and got the ball to start the second half. So even though they couldn't have played any worse, seemingly, you were only down 6 points, and the second half, a different story. All right, we go back to the phone calls. Your phone calls on the First Bank phone line at 360-8255. David is next. Hi, David.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Doing great, thanks.
I just noticed last night, a year ago, we were up 12 with the ball with 12 minutes left and found a way to lose the game. Mm-hmm. And last night, we were up 12. I think we took the ball back over at like 11:37. Mm-hmm. And so I was a little worried about that because like, deja vu. But I think we're a lot more mentally tough, especially on defense, than we were last year. I mean, we had things go wrong, like you say. A lot of teams crawl into a hole when you get down, 20 to 6, 27, whatever the score was at that point before the kickoff turn and then all that stuff. And then at the end of the game, having that lead, we closed it out. We went out there and shut them down. I think this team is – a lot of that comes with confidence from the coach, but I think mentally I see a big difference over last year because, I just wanted to know your thoughts on that, if anybody brought that up yet or not.
All right, David, thank you. That's a very good point he makes. What you have now are more veteran players on that defense. Even though it's a new DC and Adam Fuller, and they've changed the scheme, you have players now that have been through a lot of games, and they're also a lot deeper. If you noticed last night, they really rotated the defensive linemen because they had to keep them fresh. It wasn't a hot night by any stretch of the imagination, but with Navy on the field so much, they had to make sure that they were fresh. So, but the attitude, I completely agree with the caller. And what they did was they took the air out of that ball for a high-octane offense like Memphis to take the air out of that ball on that, I guess, second to last drive before they were in victory formation on that final drive, is they went, I don't know how many minutes. They ended up having to punt it away, Eli, but with a 12-point lead and as fast as they play, to be able to sustain a long drive to kill the clock was big.
They did that against Ole Miss. They've shown the ability to do that this year. A couple of texts here on the First Bank text line. Raider Corey texts in, says, what a game, great weather, and about 3 explosive plays put us over the hump. I was worried at halftime, though, some questionable play calling, but kudos to the defense for a nice second-half adjustment. Somebody else says, as a UT fan, I looked at T. Martin the same way Tiger fans are looking at Brady. He just won. That's the thing. In the end, you win games. In the end, I'm pretty sure that's the most important thing is they find a way to win the game.
Yeah, Memphis would take a national championship like T. Martin, but unfortunately not in the cards.
The other side of that, somebody texts in, says Brady White is just not good. He's mediocre to average. He's not winning Memphis any games. The defense is doing most of the work. Brady sucks. I guess the backup is just that much worse. Not sure how anyone can really defend him. He's okay against bad teams, bad to terrible against good teams. No real defense for the way he's performed.
Wow. All right. Let's go to Troy. Hi, Troy.
Tell me what you really think. What's up, man?
Guys. Hey, still unnerving to be on hold and hear my ad. 2 quick points. One, saying Brady was horrendous in the first half is a little unfair. The first quarter and a half, the whole team was horrendous.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
It wasn't just Brady. And the second point is, Navy had this game circled as one they had to have if they were going to do anything this year. We had a target on our back. They came in, pulled out all the stops. We weathered the storm, settled down, and got the job done. And that's all you can ask of a bunch of college kids.
Yeah, and then the thing too, I mean, it goes back to a lot of this is to the coaching staff. Like they made adjustments offensively, defensively. They made adjustments at halftime, and that's what you're looking for. Like Navy threw some things at them they hadn't seen. They made changes. They only allowed 3 points in the second half. Mike Norvell in the offense, they changed things, and they had a much better second half. I mean, all you can ask for your coaches is to be able to recognize and make the changes that you need to make, and this coaching staff continues to do that.
I agree.
Thank you, Troy.
Go Tigers.
Appreciate the phone call. By the way, I just texted Sports Information Director Tammy DeGroff over at the University of Memphis, and I asked her the question, when was the last time the Tigers had 3 scoring plays of 70 or more yards in a single game? She said that right now is one of our projects. We have gone through the last 2 years of box scores, and so far we have not found that. So we'll see how far they have to go, even with the explosive offenses that they've had since Paxton Lynch arrived here. They, to get 70-plus yards on 3 different touchdowns for that distance is pretty unique.
If they've gone through, I'm surprised because I would have thought maybe in the last 2 years, just because you could get a Tony Pollard kickoff return plus some Darrell Henderson run.
Right,
like the fact that they've been returning all these kickoffs for touchdowns recently certainly helps. A couple other quick texts here on the First Bank text line. I think the problem with Brady is he doesn't know how to check down the defense. He's not reading the blitzes. Every time he was in trouble last night was because of the blitz he didn't read. Yeah, the one on the fumble, that was one I know a lot of people complained about, like that he just did not recognize, and that's one you got to be able to recognize and throw it away instead of taking that sack and the fumble.
I think that is a very fair point, But I also want to say when he had the time to throw and he threw the touchdown pass to, what was the 73-yarder to, that was Gibson, right? To Antonio Gibson. He went through his progression. He looked to his right, to his left, and then saw him down the middle. I don't know if that was a post route or not, or it was just I think it was a post route. And the
Coaxey touchdown was more the one that he went through a lot of reads.
The Coaxey one, he returned spin and scored. But I thought he was doing pretty good when he had his time to look around. He didn't have a lot of time in that first half.
Somebody else says, I think a lot of it is we're used to flashy quarterbacks. Brady White is boring. Like he is on the field, like his play, it is a bit boring here because you're not going to see he's not throwing the ball 65 yards in the air. He's not going to make these amazing runs. Like he's going to make the safe play and try and not make mistakes.
Yeah, but he has a very similar personality to Ferguson, right? I'm trying to think back with the 3 quarterbacks, the last 3 starting quarterbacks, and their reactions to big plays and touchdowns. Paxton was more animated. I think Riley was more, I'm trying to remember, was Riley animated or reserved?
Yeah.
Was he?
Animated, absolutely.
I mean, when you talk to him, he was very
Riley
introverted.
Would try and make, and sometimes, and again, that's the flashiness can get you in trouble because there were times where both, Riley especially tried to make throws that he should have never tried to make, and that gets you in trouble.
I'm not talking about their play. I'm talking about reaction. Brady White throws a touchdown pass. He's obviously excited about it, but it's not that, he's not fist pumping and doing all that kind of stuff, which some quarterbacks have done. Stan is next. Hi, Stan.
Hey, what's going on, man?
How are you?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. Yeah, man, I just want to say, the Tigers are doing great, and I just don't understand the booing. I mean, in all reality, the Tigers fans, they could have cost us the game. They could have gotten into Brady's head and let it get to him, then he could have continued to be playing horrible.
He could. I mean, look, he could have reacted in an adverse. He could have certainly responded negatively where his play struggled even worse because he fell into that hole that I talked about earlier. But he didn't. He for some reason was able to engulf this response, this negative response, and turn it into a positive, which is not easy to do.
And I think that's awesome. I just wish that it would have been handled different by the fans, and instead of, pretty much tearing the kid down, even though he came above it, what about clapping or cheering or saying his name, supporting your team? I mean, I see so many times in sports now where if somebody makes mistakes and it's, oh, he sucks, get him out of the game.
Right.
Well, some of that too.
Let's support our city.
In that moment, yes, they are booing it a lot. It's directed at Brady, but it's also just they're booing the whole situation. Like the offense isn't going. Here was an opportunity for a big play. He sails the ball 10 yards out of bounds, and it's just the immediate frustration of the whole moment of like, gosh, what's going on with our offense right now?
And here's the thing, Stan. When you have a game where it's football because that's the biggest crowds, and there's over 30,000 or 40 or 50 or 60, whatever. I mean, to have everybody avoid that type of reaction is impossible. There's going to be people that are very reactionary on one play. Like Eli said, they look at the scope of things. Oh, you could have ran for 20 yards. You had two wide receivers, and the boos just come out naturally. We've seen it all over the place in sports, pro and college sports. This year in football, I mean, every game I seem to be watching, the boo birds seem to come out. I don't mind so much the boo birds. It's, again, I'll go back to the personal attacks. That's where I have the issue.
Totally. I totally agree.
Thank
We're
you.
not down there on the field, and I think Brady's doing awesome. I'm looking forward to keep watching him play.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Stan. Appreciate the phone call.
A couple of other texts here. Somebody says saying a quarterback sucks is not a personal attack. I don't think he can win any games for us if it comes down to it. We will find out when we play a team that can stop our running game.
Here are the personal attacks. He's the worst quarterback ever. Read some of the things that people say. Is he? Is he really the worst quarterback ever? Are you kidding me? Seriously, are you kidding me?
Somebody else says first half was a disaster, but second half they came alive. One of the biggest things I saw was the center was getting blown up by the interior defensive lineman. Other than that, pretty solid performance.
That happened a lot. Again, let me go back to that point. What are you judging the suckiness on? Just because he doesn't have the big cannon arm? He was awful in that first half, but the team also was awful. So if you're just looking at numbers, they've been in the conference championship game the last couple of years. He's the all-time leader in completion percentage at the University of Memphis. He doesn't throw many interceptions. So what are we talking about here? I mean, again, your prerogative. You can see it any way you want to see it. If it's because he doesn't have the cannon arm, then, yeah, I guess it fits your criteria.
A couple of others on Brady White. JJ texts in, so all the Brady haters, stay the hell away from Liberty Bowl Memorial Stadium. Coach knows what he's doing. Go boo somewhere else. Memphis football doesn't need you. Well, if they would have lost, if everybody that booed last night's not there, there's going to be a really small crowd left over. John says, I can understand calling him names if he lost, but he stepped up and brought the Tigers back. He should be praised.
I don't know about calling them names, even if they lost. Let's go to DW. DW, what's happening?
Hey, you guys, how's it going?
Good.
Okay, I got two points to make. I was kind of disappointed in the first half at the defense, and it wasn't so much as the players. It was the scheme and the coaches. You know, they had 12, 11 days to prepare for Navy, and when you're trying to stop the triple option, it's all about assignment.
Sure.
And being disciplined, it just didn't look like they were playing assignment. I mean, you got to stop the dive, you have to hit the quarterback, and you have to stop the pitch. And that's just the three basic things that you have to do every play. And it just seems like they were trying to attack the ball instead of just attacking, hey, let's attack these assignments that we know that we have to do. And they weren't doing it, and it got a lot better in the second half when they came out, and you could see them. Okay, you could see Austin Hall on the pitch, man, right there. You know, whether he pitched it or not, and you could see them stopping. They when the fullback went out for Navy, they got a lot better at stopping the dive play, and they got a lot better. You know, you got to almost hit the quarterback every play. I know the rules are a little bit different, but when you got a team like Navy or Georgia Tech, the rules are a little bit different. You can hit the quarterback a little bit more, and you got to almost hit the quarterback every play. And they wasn't doing it the first half, and I didn't understand why they wasn't doing it when they had all the time to prepare.
Well, let me add one thing, DW. What they were doing, I saw a couple of times, maybe more than a couple, was they over-pursued to one side of the field, and then they went misdirection on him. And that goes back to what you said about assignments against a triple option offense.
You can't play hero ball. You just got to carry out your assignment and rely on your teammate to carry out his, and you can stop it. Navy had them running all over the place in the first half.
I agree.
And as far as Brady, I don't hate the kid. I think he's a good player. He's a good quality quarterback. He just thinks too much. And sometimes, you know, you got to be a little bit more athletic. He's not the most athletic quarterback we've had, but by far he's not the worst that we've had. Or, you know, we've been lucky the last 3, 4 starting quarterbacks to have some pretty good ones. And I appreciate him, but sometimes he just thinks so much. Sometimes you just have to pull it down and either take the sack or take off. And I don't know what he has against running. I don't know why Norvell runs this kind of read option where everybody knows he's not going to keep it and run.
Right.
So it's kind of moot to just kind of put the ball in the running back stomach when you know you're going to hand it to the running back.
I think that's a very fair assessment, DW. Got to run. Great stuff. Appreciate the phone call. We got to take another break. Tony, Robert, Michael, we're coming to you when we return. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
The Peter Edmonston Experience with C.J. Hurt. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10. Only on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Get your gun, Nelly, and saddle up Penelope. It's Western Trading Days at Sunrise Buick GMC. Old-time trading prices on over 700 new Buicks and GMC trucks, and the Sunrise Used Car Corral has over 500 in stock. Ranch managers have been told to cut prices to the bone, and remember, you can bring your car to Sunrise Service no matter where you bought it. If you're a good person with bad credit, SunriseMemphis.com will help you put one of your brand on these little fillies. Free hot dogs and Cokes at the Chuck Wagon. Western Trading Days going on now at all 3 Sunrise locations. We make it fun to buy a car again.
Stop. Pick up your golf clubs. Head to my favorite place, Vantage Point Golf Center, 9580 Macon Road in Cordova. Open 7 days a week. Vantage Point Golf Center. They got it all. Top Tracer powered by Top Golf. Track your shots like the pros. You know exactly where you hit the ball. Have a beer, eat a sandwich, and relax. Over 50 grass spots and fully lit for nighttime. There are 18 holes of mini golf. It's fun for the whole family. Visit Vantage Point Golf Center. They've got it all. 1 mile west of Houston Levee.
At CDW, we get that you need a network that keeps your business moving forward.
Us for not. Backwards everything do we.
Either way, CDW has experts who can design and implement a secure, innovative network built on Cisco DNA that learns and adapts to your needs to keep your business moving forward.
Idea good as that.
IT orchestration by CDW. It get who people. I mean, people who get it. Find out more at cdw.com/Cisco.
Hi, it's Jamie, Progressive's Employee of the Month, 2 months in a row. Leave a message at the... Hi, Jamie. It's me, Jamie. I just had a new idea for our song about the Name Your Price tool. So when it's like, tell us what you want to pay, hey, 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 and the trombone goes, blah, 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 and you say, we'll help you find coverage options to fit your budget. Then we just all do finger snaps while a choir goes, savings coming at ya, savings coming at ya. Yes? No? Maybe? Anyway, see you at practice tonight. I got new lyrics for the rap break.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Upgrade your commute with Audible. Get 100% ad-free listening anytime, anywhere with the Audible app. Be inspired by Mel Robbins' Take Control of Your Life, Malcolm Gladwell's Talking to Strangers, and Rachel Hollis's Girl Stop Apologizing. Or listen to Stephen King's latest thriller, The Institute, on your commute. Use the app to hear an amazing story or learn something new, and let Audible give you the edge. Start a free 30-day Audible trial today, and your first audiobook is on us. Visit audible.com.
You'll see the dedication in every single step. You'll see it in the smiles when smiles are hard to get. You'll see it in the little things that add up to success. The caring and passion are the things that we love best.
Wolf Chase Limb Brace is your Mid-South provider for orthotics and prosthetics. They are an ABC accredited facility, and their practitioners are ABC certified. At Wolf Chase Limb Brace, their services include artificial limbs, legs and arms, braces of all kinds, and custom molded inserts. You can call them today at 901-507-7821 for their location on Highway 64 in between Germantown Parkway and Appling Road, or visit them at their new location in Jackson, Tennessee. That number is 731-660-5900, or visit them on the web at wolfchaselimbembrace.com.
Wolf Chase Limb and Brace.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays delivered by FedEx. This hour is also brought to you by Davis Motorhome Mart. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
Welcome back, everybody. Final segment in Hour 1. John Varlas joins us at 11, talk some prep football. We got Drew Hill at 12 on Tigers basketball, Barrett Salih on college football at 12:25. Also, 10 in a row, the game show that has swept the nation. Got some baseball and Grizzlies talk coming up as well on the show. But right now, we're going to get back to your phone calls and texts. I do want to say one thing that we talked about earlier in the week, how important that game was last night to put your best foot forward, to look good on national TV. It wasn't working for the first half of that game, but in the second half, it certainly did. And the importance of keeping everything still possible for a special season. While it does, when you look at that first half, go, oh, man, how are they going to get through this schedule? And because these teams in the American Conference are getting better. But then you look at the second half and you go, well, maybe they have that opportunity. At least it's still there. It's still an opportunity. They had to win that game last night, and they did. All right, back to the First Bank phone lines. Tony is next. Hi, Tony.
Hey, guys, how you doing?
Doing well, thank you.
Greg, I agree a lot with what you're saying today. One thing about it, the kid and the team might not play up to par the first half, but they overcame and they did what they had to do the second half. They did great. What's scary is this might be Mike Norvell's last year, but I got to say this. As bad as Brady White may be to some people, he's got to be pretty doggone good when you look at the statistics. I've always said he's not the most mobile guy, but he doesn't make many mistakes. I think his feet just is bigger than unusually big, and he's not very mobile. I mean, that's one thing I look at him. Moving side to side, he is awful. But the guy doesn't make mistakes. So what more can you ask for? You winning, he's solid. And that's all you can have because you got a great running back back there. You're going to have a problem in a couple of weeks because you're going to have two great running backs and both of them going to want the ball.
Yeah, when Patrick Taylor comes back.
Well, remember last year they had they had a couple of good ones and they were able to get them the ball enough.
Yeah, that is true. But you remember that game at Ole Miss when Patrick Taylor, he was throwing Ole Miss defensive players around like they were Lego blocks.
Right.
It was amazing. So, like I said, I think it's a good problem to have because in the old days, we used to talk about Memphis losing a lot. Now, Memphis won. This is the best team in Tennessee. And Tennessee fans are jealous.
Thank you, Tom.
That's a great thing. Take care.
Appreciate it. Have a great weekend.
I would venture to say Brady White's the best quarterback in Tennessee.
Yeah, would you rather have Garantano, Tigers fans? Just a thought. Robert is next on the program. Robert, how are you?
Hi, guys.
Hey.
I'm enjoying the show. It's always interesting to listen to the day after.
Yes.
Just think if they would have lost. What would Brady White be going through?
No kidding. And frankly, the last caller pretty much says everything that's important. Hey, we're winning. We're enjoying a time of the program's history that hasn't happened very much, not since I've lived here anyway. I'd just like to tell everybody, why don't we just enjoy the fact that we've got a good team that's worth watching?
Yeah.
And forget, so Brady White isn't as good as the last two quarterbacks. He's good enough to have us be undefeated right now. And as far as I'm concerned, it's a team. It's not one guy. It's a team. So let's stay behind them and give them all the support they can. I don't think booing helps. I mean, the only time I boo is because I think the coaches are maybe making some bad calls,
or maybe the officials,
or the officials, right? Or the officials. Those are the guys that are worth it because they're getting paid to do the right thing.
I hear you. Thank you, Robert.
All right.
Simple message, but a very good message. And one more call, and we go to Wayne. Hi, Wayne.
Hey, guys. Have a day to you.
You too.
Man, I tell you, that triple option and Navy run, and they do it to a T, is something to see. I felt like I was watching an old Newt Rockney Notre Dame movie last night. And, they confused me a couple of times he had the ball. And I think Coach Niumatalolo was right. He said he saw Memphis' defense getting tired in that first half, and that kickoff return just kind of took some air out of, Navy's momentum. But it's encouraging to see the adjustments made and what the defense did in the second half to shut that down. And as far as the booing, I think it wasn't directed directly to Brady. It was to the whole performance that we were seeing by the offense.
Yeah.
And to the coaches, because we know Brady's running Mike Norvell's system. That's how I've defended Brady is. He runs Mike's system. Because there was a couple of times in the second half when he could have ran, he had 15, 20 yards in front of him.
Right.
And everybody's scratching their head. Why didn't he run? And I think it's because he's running Mike's system. So, the stats prove he's a good quarterback. And I think the last booing that I can remember was when Paxton Lynch came in. That year he replaced the real popular quarterback. I forget his name. I can recall. And that was directed to Paxton.
Gotcha.
Which I don't agree with. I think the fans have got a right to just show their displeasure at the performance we're seeing. You got to do something, Coach. This ain't working.
All right, Wayne, we got to roll, man.
Thanks, guys.
I appreciate it. Thanks for the phone call.
That's what I mean. Some of that is directed at Brady, but it's the immediate reaction to the overall situation. Offense is struggling. That was just the kind of the play that was kind of summed up what was going on offensively, and so they boo at that moment. And that play, as Brady again said, that was a horrendous throw.
Thanks to all the calls and texts, and we may have a chance to revisit this a little bit later on in hour number 2. But when we return, John Varlas is going to join us as we talk some prep football. Big week on the high school level. Davis Motorhome Mart is the first hour sponsor of Sports 56 Middays. Over 7.5 acres of beautiful travel trailers, motorhomes, fifth wheels, and toy haulers, towable half tons. They got motorhomes from 27 feet up to 45 feet in length, and they have all the big name brands like Winnebago, Coachman, Puma, Highland Ridge, and Tiffin. In fact, they're a top 10 Tiffin dealer in the United States. They have customers that come from all over the country and even from Canada to purchase a motorhome from Davis Motorhome Mart. Family owned and operated. They've been in business a long time. They know what they're doing. They got a big blowout sale going on right now on all the 2019s as they make room for the 2020s. That means it's a great time to buy if you're in the market for a motorhome. DavisMotorhome.com is the website. The phone number is 901-332-3414. That's 901-332-3414. Call them and tell them you heard it here on Sports 56 Middays. They are located at 1145 East Brooks Road in Memphis. It's Davis Motorhome Mart, first hour sponsor of Sports 56 Middays. JV, John Varlas, next. Hour 2 coming up. Right here on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Bartlett Small Engine has been serving quality power equipment since 1970. They have a full line of power equipment, parts, and services for most makes and models. Bartlett Small Engines has the best brands in the power tool industry: Honda mowers, trimmers, and generators, Steel blowers, trimmers, and chainsaws, Echo trimmers, blowers, and chainsaws, plus quality products from Red Mat and Shindawa. And they're all American made. Bartlett Small Engine is your can-do store. 6780 Summer Avenue. Call 901-386-9779.
At CDW, we get that you need a network that keeps your business moving forward.
Us for not. Backwards everything do we.
Either way, CDW has experts who can design and implement a secure, innovative network built on Cisco DNA that learns and adapts to your needs to keep your business moving forward.
Idea good as that.
IT orchestration by CDW. It get who people. I mean, people who get it. Find out more at cdw.com/Cisco.
At Jason's Deli, you can stuff yourself full of great deli food that's healthy, fresh, and best of all, it's not expensive. Jason's Deli is all about choice. Whether you're looking for a gluten-free menu, vegetarian sandwiches, healthy kids' meals, or if you'd like to invent your sandwich via the build-your-own selections, Jason's Deli has you covered. And they only use fresh, wholesome ingredients. Choose from the club and specialty sandwiches, paninis, wraps, soups, salads, pastas, and much more. I love the cleanliness in the restaurant, the hospitality, and of course the cost. They have a huge salad bar and great soups, including Southwest chicken chili, fire roasted tortilla, organic vegetable, tomato basil, and many, many more. And if you're planning an event, their catering department is fantastic and can handle any size party. Go check out Jason's Deli's 4 locations. On Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, that's my favorite, on Germantown Parkway in Cordova, at Poplar and Highland, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch.
Frontier Western Store's world-famous boot showroom is waiting for you. With aisles and aisles of boots in one easy spot, you will find your next favorite pair at Frontier. Everyone loves Ariat boots, and Frontier has over 1,000 pair in that brand alone. Come grab a pair of rugged work boots like the Workhog, or discover an everyday classic in Ariat's Rambler. Tons of other brands as well: Rocky, Dan Post, Red Wing, Durango, Justin, Twisted X, and many more. Frontier constantly restocks and refreshes their lineup of boots, so you're certain to walk out of the store happy in your new comfortable footwear. They have a wide assortment of sizes available for men, women, and children. Work, dress, or play, Frontier's knowledgeable staff will cheerfully help you find the perfect fit. It's boots galore at Frontier Western Store, 5880 Goodman Road, Olive Branch, or on the web at frontierwesternstore.com. Family owned and operated, you know it, since 1967.
Upgrade your commute at Acura of Memphis. Seize the thrill and test drive one of our award-winning models, each packed with cutting-edge technology, luxurious amenities, and a driving experience that's sure to awaken your inner self. Driving shouldn't be a chore, it should be an adventure. Advance your drive today. Shop our aggressive lease and finance options now. Luxury is waiting at Acura of Memphis, or shop online 24/7. Visit AcuraofMemphis.com.
AC trouble? Make your first call your last call. Call Air Doctors of Memphis, 901-598-HVAC. Owner Matt Davis is a third-generation full-service air conditioning specialist. Air Doctors of Memphis services all major brands, and labor and parts are guaranteed 100%. Their yearly AC checkup is only $60, and 24-hour emergency service is billed at normal rates. Your comfort is their highest priority. Contact airdoctorsofmemphis.com or call 901-598-HVAC.
You already know you can listen to Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7 anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also keep up to date with everything going on by keeping up with Sports 56 on social media. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch for information on breaking news, chances to win prizes, and video of all the shows. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Stay in touch with Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7 on social media. We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports 56 Middays presented by FedEx. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
Welcome back, everybody. 11:03 is the time. Hour 2 of the program on this beautiful Friday. By the way, the weather last night really cooperated. It was hot during the day, but a nice night last night for a little football. Hopefully that'll be the case tonight as well for some high school football. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoie, Austin Eldridge. We are in the Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road. That is just north of I-40. Sports 56 Middays is delivered each and every day by our title and presenting sponsor, the great folks at the FedEx Corporation. FedEx can help provide global access for your business. Learn more at fedex.com/e-commerce. It is time for John Varlas.
It's time to talk some high school sports on Sports 56 Middays. Joining Greg and Eli is John Varlas from the Daily Memphian. Check out John's prep coverage at dailymemphian.com. Now, here's John with Greg and Eli.
There must be some kind of way out of here.
It is already week 6 of the high school football season, and we're still in September, for goodness sakes. John Varlas joins us from the Daily Memphian. We were talking a lot in hour 1 about the Tigers and the booing of Brady White. All the football games you've been at, high school football, you've never heard boos, right?
You know what? I've heard a lot of boos directed towards the officials. I've heard a lot of screaming and carrying on directed towards the officials. Yeah, the only I don't think I can ever recall a player being booed.
That's great.
But I do recall a coach that and Eli can probably figure out who it is, but I remember him getting a lot of flack, maybe 6 or 7 years ago from some of the spectators at a particular game or two. Yeah.
So why do you think that is? And you've been to 1 million games. As far as you can remember, you have never heard people in the audience, the fans, booing a player. One level up in college, all bets are off.
Yeah, I don't. Well,
for some reason.
Yeah, for some reason, and you're right. I think maybe the people at high school game recognize that these are just kids, and there's no reason to boo them. And if there's a mistake that's being made, it's probably more on the coach maybe than them necessarily. I mean, even whether that's true or not, I don't think it's right to boo 15, 16-year-old kids. I don't think it's, I don't know that I would boo Brady White necessarily. I don't think that's justified, to be honest with you, and I hope I don't get in trouble for saying that. But I mean,
in trouble from who?
From the Tiger fans, the passionate Tiger fan base out there. If you disagree, you disagree. But yeah, I don't know necessarily that Brady White should have been booed. I think you reserve booing for the guys that are getting paid, the coaches that are getting paid, and everybody else just leave it at that.
Yeah, a lot of people look at college football and major college football. It's a big business, and booing becomes part of that.
Well, they look at it. We buy a ticket. We pay for a ticket so we could do that. But you could also, pay for a ticket and act like an ass if you want to.
Kids are on scholarship or anything else. High school kids or kids out there that are just they're out there to represent their school, and so I think it is a little bit different. But yes, I think in high school most of the booing, certainly most of it is officials, but there are coaches at times who take some flack, and there's a lot of fans at high school football games that think they are coaches.
There is a lot. You see that a lot. I mean, you see that a heck of a lot in basketball games, because you'll see these folks in the audience, and they have every tactic in the book to break down a 2-1-2 press, and and they're not afraid to share it with the players from the stands. They're out there running plays and drawing up. You see that a lot in basketball. But yeah, college football is a big business for sure. But I agree with you guys. I think sometimes the fact that you buy a ticket to a game, it doesn't make you part of the game. You're just a fan, and I think a lot of times a lot of fans like to insert themselves into games maybe more than they should be. They're there. They're there to be fans. They're not there to storm the court or boo or make maniacs of themselves.
There's one more factor, Eli, the difference between the high school and the college. I don't know how many of those parents are out there tailgating, just drinking the storm before they go and watch the kids play, whereas college is a little different. Sometimes the alcohol does the talking.
That too, but you also at college, they're spending a little more money to be out there.
Sure.
So they feel like they have a little more invested in that program than what they do at the high school level. But there's been a few times at high school football games where I thought it would just be like hilarious if you get certain fans who are just constantly yelling that every play is the wrong play. Like, what are you doing? Why throw the ball or run the ball? And I just one time for a coach to just be like, hey, you come down here and call plays. Let's see you call plays. Let's see how this goes with you calling the plays. Since you seem to know the correct play to run every single time, come down here and call them for me.
What happens though if the parent goes down there, calls the right play, they score an 80-yard touchdown, and the coach goes, "All right, I resign."
Then you hire him as offensive coordinator.
You sign him as a volunteer coach, and we
So Butch Jones has a future.
And even with the referees too, we see a lot of criticism on the high school level directed to the referees, but here we have a shortage, a drastic shortage of referees in the state of Tennessee in all sports, and and in a lot of cases they're begging for referees and qualified people that want to help and be a part of it, and so maybe some of these people would be better served than instead of criticizing to go out, volunteer your expertise, volunteer your time, and see what it's really like, and then maybe you would have a different perspective.
That's
interesting take.
My view on officials is completely different because you've been there. You've been there, done that. I didn't do football. I did basketball, but it is. I always say, you think it's so easy, and you're so you can make every correct call. Put the whistle on for one game, and then talk to me.
All right, we will certainly love to hear via the text 67129 your thoughts on a high school football game or what game you want John to take a look at. As I said, to open up the segment, week 6, we are moving right along. Right off the bat, Whitehaven at Cordova. That's not the game you're at?
No, that is the game.
It is the game you're at. Okay. I always try to guess which game. Where will John Varlas be? Where the hell is Carmen Sandiego? He's going to be in Cordova.
Yeah, I'm going to be in Cordova, and I'm really looking forward to it. I saw Cordova earlier against Germantown earlier in the season. They were really impressive. They played Bartlett last week, and actually Bartlett won that game 14-7, which was one of the bigger surprises so far of the year, because Cordova's a really talented team, and at least historically here, Bartlett has struggled against their fellow 6A schools. But so yeah, I'm going to be eager to see how Cordova bounces back from that, and checking out Whitehaven in person for the first time this year. It should be incredible. Should be a lot of fun. Can't wait to see those those great linebackers in person, and see if this defense is as good as it looks on highlights and statistically. I mean, they're putting up incredible numbers statistically. You can't run against these guys. They're they're giving up less than 40 yards a game on the ground. They're giving up right around a touchdown a game so far. They've just been incredible. And this is definitely a state caliber defense, state championship caliber defense. So, if they can, as always, if they can get the offense to match up, they got a great chance to go as far as anybody. So it's going to be fun to see these two teams. And, this is actually a really good little budding rivalry that these two programs have put together here in the last couple of years as well. It's not, a rivalry in the sense that it's equal in winning, because Whitehaven has won every game. But, these are two schools that are, two proud schools, and two really good programs. And they've put together a pretty good little series here. It's going to be a great game. I urge anybody, if you're in the Cordova neighborhood or just anywhere, go out and check it out tonight.
Tonight, speaking of little rivalries, I did not know the history of Christian Brothers and Central. They have not played since 96, but they go back to 1898.
Wow. Did you cover that game, John?
You know what? I was actually in the stand.
He was booing the officials.
I was booing the officials.
He was in the stand. There was only one stand back then.
I was in the stand, and I was throwing my derby hat at the officials.
This is the 80th meeting all time. Christian Brothers has never played. This is the most they've ever played any opponent is Central. It's funny because I was looking. John Canazzo has all these things amazing. 4 straight years from 1906 to 1910, they tied, and 3 of those were 0-0 ties. Literally 3 straight games every year, 0-0 ties, 0-0, 0-0. They should have stopped the rivalry then, because that's just bad football.
That was a pre-forward pass, was it?
I think that was the flying wedge, right?
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to doing a game at Crump Stadium, because I've never done a game at Crump Stadium, so I'm looking forward to that. But I was asking you about Darren Turner, the Arkansas commit for Central, and just how good he is. But what do you expect tonight between Christian Brothers and Central?
Central's got some guys. Darren Turner. We talked about he's going to Arkansas. He's a great talent. He's a tall kid. About 6'3", real good size. Really really good potential on the next level to be a really good pass catcher. I think Central, they don't utilize the pass as much as maybe some other teams around here do. So you probably don't get the full display of his talents right now on the high school level. But, he goes 2 ways at defensive back. He's made a lot of plays this year as a DB as well, a couple of interceptions. But, yeah, Central's got some guys. I mean, Christian Brothers, they really have to be wary. This running back for Central, Cartier Beverly, one of the best names in town. He's a sophomore. He's also a basketball player, but he's playing football this year and doing a terrific job. He's in the top 5 or 6 among rushers here in town. They got Kobe Perkins, a big giant-sized lineman. Rasul Muhammad, defensive back, leads the city in interceptions. And I know, throwing the ball has been kind of a bugaboo for Christian Brothers this year. So it's gonna be a really good game. I think these, despite Central being 2-3, I think these are actually pretty 2 evenly matched teams. And I think the difference, in this game is going to be avoiding turnovers and controlling the line of scrimmage. I think if CBHS can get Al Wooten going like they did last week, I think they got a great chance. But if Central can get Cartier Beverly going and open things up with him, I think they've got a great chance.
I will let folks know that game tonight, that'll be the only game we have in the air. We're not carrying the Germantown game tonight. Christian Brothers will be on Sports 56, 87.7, and 96.1. So you can hear Christian Brothers on all 3 of the stations, of course, as well as on the website and via the app. But Christian Brothers and Central, I'll have the pregame beginning at 6:50.
We got a text, and again, you can text if you have a question or a comment about high school football. You want John to talk about a particular game or a player. Somebody texted Millington versus FACS. And then what kind of team does FACS have this year?
FACS has they have a really high scoring team here the last couple of weeks. They put up 56 points against St. George's last week, which was kind of a surprise. And the week before that, they put up 60 points against Oak Haven. That's actually going to be a really fun kind of under the radar game. You've got two terrific quarterbacks in that one. Tommy Clifton from Millington, who's a 4-year starter, really good player, and Cole Putnam at FACS. He's a big quarterback. He's like 6'3", 200 pounds, dual threat guy that can run it and pass it. So a lot of what FACS does is centered around what Cole can do. But yeah, I mean that's when you look at the schedule, you might say, oh, FACS and Millington, but no, that has a potential to be a really good game because of the quarterback matchup. I'm going to kind of be interested to see how that one goes.
Southwind got a big win last week over Kirby. They get Ridgeway this week.
Yeah, and that's another rivalry game for Southwind back to back. Last week against Kirby, they won the brick, which it's not actually a brick. It's more like a cinder block, but they call it a brick.
Oh, they don't got to wear that around their neck.
No, they don't. I don't
like
think
a defensive interception. You got to wear the brick.
Butch Jones would love that brick by brick. He needs to be a part of this rivalry so he can win brick by brick.
No, yeah. Southwind's got some guys, but I don't think even they would be able to wear it's a pretty good size cinder block,
right?
But yeah, there's another trophy with Ridgeway, and I know Southwind's going to want to bring that trophy home as well. I mean, yeah, Southwind, what they're doing this year is really fascinating to me, guys, because they've got 3 running backs that could start, for a lot of different teams. A lot of teams have, one bell cow that they, like Houston, for example, with Lincoln Perry. They've got three guys that can really play: Romal Webb, Jeffrey Williams, and Steve Guy. I mean, they can all play. They could all play for anybody. But yet they're managing to keep these guys happy. They're managing to get them all enough carries to be satisfied.
Kudos to the coach.
Kudos to Coach Slocum for that, and the offensive coordinator over there. They're doing a fantastic job. Webb is obviously the standout, but these other guys are doing what they can as well, and it's just a really, really dangerous team. They lead the city in rushing by a considerable margin. So yeah, Ridgeway started out 0-3. I think they're definitely getting better. But it's going to be a tough task for Ridgeway because Southwind, if they play defense like they did against Kirby, they've got the offense. This is a really, really good Southwind team if he can get good, consistent defensive play.
John, what's going on in DeSoto County? Of course, last year we had a juggernaut in Horn Lake. They just had a tremendous team with so much talent. Now it seems like it's a nice mixture. Horn Lake obviously has dropped down. DeSoto Central plays at Olive Branch. They're 3-1. Olive Branch is 2-2. Is that the top of the DeSoto County high school football programs right now? Or
it looks like it for right now. I think with Horn Lake they had such a fantastic team last year, but they just lost so many good players. Radarius Jones and of course N'Kobe Dean, the great linebacker who's now at North Carolina. They just lost so many players, and on the high school level, unless you're a perennial contender like a Whitehaven or an MUS, maybe it's hard when you sustain such personnel losses, and I think you're right. I think that the 2 best teams down there right now are Olive Branch and DeSoto Central, and that's got a potential to be a fantastic game this week. Olive Branch looked, really good against Germantown last week, especially defensively. They held Germantown to 8 yards in the second half. I mean, it was just an incredible defensive effort. They got a really good running back, a kid named Gary Banks, who had almost 200 yards last week. So DeSoto Central is going to, be tasked with stopping him. But yeah, I think it's going to be a real interesting game down there this tonight.
Some other good matchups. What about Collierville at ECS?
Oh, that's another interesting matchup. I mean, yeah, a lot of interesting matchups.
Public, private, big, small.
Yep.
Another one.
Big, small. Yeah, they actually played soccer last night. I was out there. It was a good match there too. But yeah, with ECS, they are a small private school, but they've got a lot of big time talent. Jalen Greenwood at running back is really starting to show what he can do. Dietrich Pennington, the gigantic offensive lineman who's got, multiple offers from Power 5 people. And, of course, Austin Hill, the linebacker who's headed to Army. So they've got some guys. They also have some injury problems. I was told last night, in addition to, Carson Gagnon, who's still injured, they've got, injury issues on the line as well, and that might play into it this week. But Coach Ricconi's doing a great job out there at Collierville. He's building that program like I think a lot of people thought he would. It definitely seems like it's heading in the right direction, and Collierville's already been tested in some really close games this year. So if it's a close game, you might give the edge to Collierville, but I don't know. ECS just has so much talent, and they're so well coached, and even though they're the smaller school, it's hard to overlook them in this game.
Another private-public matchup. A lot of teams go into MUS with gaudy records and come out with an L. Fairley's 4-1, and we know they're a pretty good team. MUS has been really, really good. They're 4-1. Does Fairley have any chance to give them a really good game, in your opinion?
Boy, I hate to say it because I love Gene Robinson and the guys out there at Fairley do such a good job, but this is a tough spot for them, as the gamblers would say, because they're not only are they facing a really good MUS team, they're facing a really good MUS team that lost last week to Montgomery Bell Academy. So whatever illusions or delusions the players might have had this week, the coaching staff's had all this week to get it out of them and say, hey guys, we're not that, we still got a long way to go. We got work to do. So I think Fairley's going to get the full MUS experience tonight. And yeah, when you have a public school like Fairley taking on a bigger private school like MUS, it just comes down to numbers and matchups. And I think ultimately MUS will wear Fairley down and pull away. And that's fine. Fairley's going to get experience from this game. So when they go back to their region competition in 2A and get in the playoffs, they'll have been in a big time pressure cooker type of situation, and it's going to help them. Even though, they'll probably take the L tonight.
As I said, with you just look around. There's just going by your rankings. Was it Power 15?
Power 15.
I was want to say Super 15. It doesn't sound right in my head. Power 15.
Memphis' definitive high school rankings, by the
way. Hey. I'm not going to question you, that's for sure. But there's just a lot of matchups within your rankings this week. So that's a good week of high school football.
That's a real good week. Cordova Whitehaven is one. That's number 1 against number 15. MUS Fairley, what we just talked about, is number 4 against number 9. DeSoto Central and Olive Branch are both in there. And I'm thinking there's one more.
Is Bartlett White Station, are they ranked?
Bartlett White Station was ranked. They fell out last week after.
Yeah, I think maybe that was the one I was thinking of too. But they just fell out.
But Bartlett is ranked.
No, Bartlett's not ranked.
They're not.
I'm a little bit wait and see on Bartlett. They look like they're putting things together, but the front end of their schedule was kind of loaded with some easy games. So I'm kind of in wait and see mode with Bartlett. I suspect that they're definitely getting better, and by all accounts they are. I talked to a coach that had actually played them earlier this season, and he said, he's really, really impressed with what Bartlett's putting together.
So maybe a win tonight over White Station at the fairgrounds.
A win tonight over White Station would absolutely be huge for Bartlett, and it would definitely get them some P15 consideration.
Collierville ECS was the other one, so there's four. There's four matchups just within your top 15. So that's pretty good week.
It is a great night. It should be a great night of high school football, at least on paper. It certainly is. Again, week 6, and here we are still. Somehow in September. It's amazing. It really starts early, high school football. The guy who has it all covered is John Varlas from the Daily Memphian. You can catch him every Friday here on Middays. Make sure to follow him on Twitter at John Varlas. Have a great night, man.
I will. Please don't boo anybody if you can help it. Especially not the prep reporter. He's working hard.
And the announcer. Don't boo me. Please leave me out of it.
Just go out and have fun. Support your school. Eat a corn dog or whatever and have a great night. Don't get too worked up about it. It's high school football.
Good advice, John.
If I mispronounce your kid's name, it's not on purpose. I thought I had it right.
It just means he hasn't put a big effort into learning the kid's name. No, I'm kidding.
The poor announcer at ECS in Collierville soccer last night, a couple of these Collierville names he really struggled with. And at one point he just gave up. I think he said something like number 10 is my something. He just gave up halfway through, the poor guy.
Close. It was Maya Summer. Maya Summer.
I felt bad for the player and for him in particular, too. So.
There's been times where there's all of a sudden a number out there in the field that I don't have on that roster. That's always a good fun feeling. There's a kid There's a kid with the ball right now who I have no idea who he is.
I don't know what it is about Hernando. They have like 3 guys on the Hernando's team that are not on my roster, and I'm always like, oh, there's number 20 again. Yep,
there you go.
Got the ball.
You just beat me to it. Just give the number. There's 20. All right, we'll take a break. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Sports 56 now has 2 FM homes. You can now find Real Sports Talk on 96.1 as well as 87.7 on your FM dial.
The doors never close 24 hours a day at Getaway Sports Bar, the best kept secret in town. Garvin, the owner, created this SEC NFL Dream Bar over 20 years ago. You'll never miss a minute of action. 12 TVs, 5 70-inch TVs for all the big games. Rack them up on 6 pool tables. Coldest beer in town, grab you a pool stick and get you some good bar grub. 100% Angus burgers, big and moist chicken tenders. Daily happy hour Monday through Friday, 2 to 6 p.m. with long neck domestics, $2. Getaway Sports Bar, 4632 Winchester.
I'm here interviewing Macaulay Williams, CEO of Big River Distilling Company here in Memphis. Macaulay, tell us about the uniqueness of your Blue Note Bourbon and Riverset Rye.
Well, Eli, both my products, Blue Note Bourbon and Riverset Rye, are produced right here in Memphis, Tennessee. The Blue Note Bourbon is a premium small batch blend, minimum age of 9 years, served at 93 proof. The Riverset Rye is a straight rye whiskey, also at 93 proof. It's a great spicy, herbaceous tone. It's great in cocktails.
Where can folks find the Blue Note Bourbon and Riverset Rye?
Both products can be found at any local liquor store here in Memphis and also at most bars and restaurants. Next time you're around the town, be sure to ask your bartender for a glass of Blue Note or Riverset.
And is there anywhere else that folks can get more information about your products?
Yeah, absolutely. At our website, BlueNoteBourbon.com or RiversetRye.com. Also, be sure to follow us on social media at Blue Note Bourbon or at Riverset Rye.
All right, well, that sounds great. I can't wait to try a bottle.
Yeah, Eli, I really appreciate the support, and hopefully you and your listeners can pick up a bottle today.
At CDW, we get that you need a network that keeps your business moving forward.
Us for not. Backwards everything do we.
Either way, CDW has experts who can design and implement a secure, innovative network built on Cisco DNA that learns and adapts to your needs to keep your business moving forward.
Idea good as that.
IT orchestration by CDW. It get who people. I mean, people who get it. Find out more at cdw.com/Cisco.
AC trouble? Make your first call your last call. Call Air Doctors of Memphis, 901-598-HVAC. Owner Matt Davis is a third-generation full-service air conditioning specialist. Air Doctors of Memphis services all major brands, and labor and parts are guaranteed 100%. Their yearly AC checkup is only $60, and 24-hour emergency service is billed at normal rates. Your comfort is their highest priority. Contact airdoctorsofmemphis.com or call 901-598-HVAC.
The Vault on G.E. Patterson in South Main downtown has all your game day needs with 30 TVs. If your game is not on one of the 20 big screens, then sit in a booth with your own remote. The Vault has game day specials on pitchers, buckets of beer, and great food, which is the best thing about the Vault. This is not your normal sports bar. Chef Dirk Meitzler from On Tour and Cafe 621 has all his favorites like chicken Newport and his new lobster enchilada. Open for lunch and dinner every day with lunch specials for $12 weekdays with a drink. The Vault on G.E. Patterson in South Main, your downtown place to eat, drink, and watch the game.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays presented by FedEx. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
Welcome back, everybody. 11:29 is the time. Always great to catch up with John Varlas. We got Drew Hill in studio at 12. We got Barrett Sallee at 12:25. We also have 10 in a row, the game show that has swept the nation. Plenty of texts we got to get to. A couple of other things. I did want to mention Monday again, if you haven't heard, we'll be out at FedEx Forum, and we'll be there for the Grizzlies Media Day. Yes, the Grizzlies begin camp on Tuesday. We will be there Monday, as we are every season, to bring you all the interviews, a lot of interesting new characters. You know, waiting around for Mike Conley and Marc Gasol. Those days are over. The stars will be Ja Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr., and Ja's a freshman, or a rookie, I should say, and Jaren Jackson Jr. is a second-year player, and they're going to be the ones probably that come in at the very end. But we will bring you every interview we can. The good news for the Grizzlies that they announced yesterday from a medical update situation is Kyle Anderson, Dillon Brooks, Ja Morant, Jaren Jackson Jr., all good to go. DeAnthony Melton is the only player that will not be able to go in camp. He will return in 4 to 8 weeks. He's still recovering from a stress reaction in his back. So no Melton for camp, no Melton for the preseason. We'll see how quickly he's back and ready to go in the regular season. But from a health standpoint, Eli, it seems like all the guys have mended from last year after getting hurt, and that includes star Jaren Jackson Jr.
Yeah, another bit of Grizzlies news. I think Shams may have been the first to report of it. Michael Wallace has written a story on the Grind City Media website that Josh Jackson will not join the Grizzlies in camp. He will start the season with the Memphis Hustle.
Well, that's interesting. Why do you think that is?
I think they probably want Josh Jackson to prove himself off the court before they're...
But what does camp have anything to do with? You can't go to camp and still be sent down to the Hustle?
I think they're making him a Memphis Hustle player to start the year.
So what that means is he becomes... So he's not a roster... Okay, clarify this for me.
Well, he'll still have to be on the Grizzlies roster.
Okay, he still have to be on the roster.
Unless they cut him, but I don't think they're doing that because he's got a contract, so he would still have to take up a Grizzlies roster spot.
Okay,
he's
so
just not going to be, he will, I assume, not be part of Grizzlies camp. He will wait until the Hustles start their camp, go to the Hustles camp, start the season with them, and go from there.
It's still quite, it's not confusing, it's interesting. Because, again, he is a member of the team as far as he's under contract. I don't know what you lose from having him in camp. There must be something else to this. And then he's just going to join. Because the G League doesn't begin till when, Eli? The Hustle don't begin their games till when?
November 8th is the first game.
And do they, I assume they have a small camp as well?
Yeah, that's what I said. He'll. I would assume he will wait and report to camp once all the NBA rosters and everything gets set, and then people find out who's available. Then the G League kind of reports for its camp, and then the first game is. I just think they want him to know that you have to prove yourself to be a part of the Grizzlies.
Doesn't everybody have to prove themselves? That's why they go into camp.
Not everybody has the off the court issues of Josh Jackson.
No, I understand that. I understand that. I don't know if it doesn't help being around what should be and hopefully will be his teammates. If you go down to the G League, you're not around those guys. I don't know. That's a quite interesting. It really makes me wonder if he will ever be with the Grizzlies. Like really with the Grizzlies. So we'll see about that.
Way back when you asked me, he was not one of the people I had on the opening night roster. Although I guess he'll technically be on the opening night roster. It's according to, I haven't had a chance to read all of Michael Wallace's article on here. It says he will not attend media day. He will not participate alongside teammates at training camp and practice start Tuesday. He will spend the coming weeks preparing for the season with the Memphis Hustle. Jackson's representatives and the Grizzlies have mutually agreed to allow the forward to restore his reputation on and off the court through an undisclosed set of guidelines.
And I guess they don't want him fielding questions at media day, so therefore keep him away from everything. And maybe it would be a distraction for the team. I guess that's why this comes into play. All right, that's pretty interesting. Last night in the NFL, the Philadelphia Eagles kicking off week number 4 in what I called yesterday on the show a must-win for them. Could ill afford to go to 1-3. Went up to Green Bay and hung on for a 34-27 win, dropping the Packers to 3-1. They had a chance at the end of regulation. Aaron Rodgers, though, his throw into the end zone was picked off with 20 seconds left. Jordan Howard had 3 touchdowns, a couple rushing, 1 receiving for the Eagles. Carson Wentz, solid game, 16-27, 163 touchdowns. Rodgers, 34 of 53, 422, 2 touchdowns and a pick. But the Eagles get the win in a battle of green as Philly goes to 2-2.
Yeah, somebody texted and said, "Did you guys see the Eagles DB get hit last night by his own teammate?"
Yeah, that was scary.
That was a very scary thing. They did say the Eagles did say that he had movement in all of his extremities. So hopefully he's going to be okay. But yeah, that's anytime you have a situation like that, it's extremely scary. That and just took a vicious shot from his own teammate, and hopefully he is okay.
Our producer, Austin Eldridge, did some work during the last segment when we had John Barlas on, and I asked him to do some research on Tigers quarterbacks. And, this, I don't know, I figured the numbers were going to be great for Lynch and Ferguson, and, Danny had some really good numbers. So we went back in time a little bit for a few of the quarterbacks in the past to give you some of their numbers. So Brady White last year threw for 3,296 yards, completed 62.1% of his passes, had 26 touchdowns and 9 picks. In 2017, Riley Ferguson threw for 4,257 yards, about 1,000 yards more than Brady White, 63.1% completion percentage, which is pretty close to Brady's. He also had 9 interceptions and 38 touchdowns. So obviously he had better numbers, not incredibly better, but better numbers. And he also threw the ball, 82 more times than Brady. Paxton, in his best year, 2015, threw for 3,776 yards, about 400 and something more than Brady White, completed 66.8% of his passes, which is the best here on this list. He had 28 touchdowns and threw only 4 picks. Danny Wimprine, give you his numbers from 2004. And we know how great Danny Wimprine was, but he also had D'Angelo Williams. Danny threw for 2,892 yards. He completed 56.5% of his passes. He threw 22 touchdowns and 14 interceptions. I love Danny Wimprine, a gamer, a guy who would run. He would lower his head and he would knock you over. I'd go to war with Danny Wimprine. But again, if you're just comparing numbers, Brady White's numbers are better. Then you go back to like Arkeelan Hall, 2275, 12 touchdowns, 7 picks, 57% completion ratio. Doesn't compare. How about the piano man, Jacob Karam? Now, he didn't play the entire season, if I'm not mistaken. He threw 274 passes, which is 120 less than Brady White. That's a lot less. He threw for 1,895, 14 touchdowns, 3 picks. Pretty solid numbers, 64.2%. But I guess what I'm getting to is looking at this list, and the Tigers have had some really good quarterbacks and some average quarterbacks, but Brady White's numbers are really good. It's not like I'm looking at a quarterback that has thrown as many interceptions as touchdowns, or his completion ratio is under 50%. He's got really, really good numbers. And people have their own opinion about him, and that is fine. You are welcome to it. And at times you wonder about some of the things he does, especially in that first half of last night. But numbers don't lie. And the most important number, as Mike Norvell will tell you, is in that left-hand column. And while he has had some struggles against some of the better teams on the schedule, Brady White has been pretty good. He as caller said, no, he's not great by any stretch of the imagination. But to call him the worst quarterback ever and things of that nature is just laughable.
If you just go back to starting around 2010, just look at some of the quarterbacks, and here's a few of the names that played through those years. It seemed like each and every year they went through at least 3 quarterbacks. You had Ryan Williams, Tyler Bass, Taylor Reed, Andy Summerlin, Skylar Jones, Cannon Smith. I think I would take Brady.
Legends, man.
I think I would take Brady over all of those guys. I mean, remember what the quarterback position was at one point at Memphis. Yes, it is Paxton Lynch, fantastic. Riley Ferguson was great. But just before we start talking about how terrible Brady White is, remember what it used to be.
Yeah,
they couldn't find one.
I do think human nature is, you're eating hamburger, you get steak. Now you don't want to go back to hamburger. You just want steak. And then you want, prime rib, you want filet, you want more. You always want more. And you never want to go back to what it once was. So even though you may get a little bit less than whatever your favorite cut of meat is, and maybe that's what it is with Brady White. I like filet, so maybe it's not quite filet, but it's pretty darn good at what you have because you remember what you used to have.
I mean,
I
his numbers
like
are
that meat analogy.
really similar to Paxton and Riley. Not as many yards thrown, but I mean, as far as touchdowns, interceptions, Paxton only had 4, but Riley threw 9 interceptions and the same thing Brady did last year.
Here are 2 big differences. One is, again, you talked about it earlier, the flash, throwing it down the field, 70 yards. He had a 70-something yard touchdown pass, but obviously didn't throw it that far. He doesn't have the cannon that some of these other quarterbacks in recent years have. Also, the fact that he doesn't run. Even Paxton, as kind of gangly as he was, he could run. And he did effectively. And then there was the bulldozer, Wimprine, and even Riley would tuck and run. And I think sometimes that drives people crazy as well because they think there's situations where he could run and be successful. And I do too, but that's either what they have in their offensive scheme. They don't want him running. They don't want him getting popped. Or he just sees better options throwing the ball. And last night, obviously, he had a chance to complete a pass to a wide-open quarterback or a receiver or run, and he ended up overthrowing the receiver, and that's when the cascade of boos came out.
It's funny that you refer to Danny Wimprine as a bulldozer because he is built like a bulldozer now.
Man, he wasn't afraid of anything.
He's a big boy now. But there's a big difference. There's one other big difference between Brady White and Riley Ferguson and Paxton Lynch last year. They were thrown to an All-American wide receiver that he doesn't have. Anthony Miller's going to make quarterbacks look better. He was always wide open.
Right.
Devontae Coates is fantastic. He's not Anthony Miller.
Yeah, Miller making circus catches.
He had an All-American running back last year, which they leaned on. Those guys were thrown to an All-American wide receiver.
That's a good point. Pinnacle Roofing and Restoration for all your roofing and home repair needs. Call my friend Brandon McCullough at 901-438-5084 or go online to newroofmemphis.com. They offer financing, many different plans and options, including a 6, 12, or even an 18-month same-as-cash option. They'll work with your insurance company or out of pocket. They're part of the Roofs for Troops program, and the veteran active or retired, you get a $250 rebate on the purchase of a new roof. Pinnacle does both residential and commercial roofing, so business owners and property managers, if you have a leak or any other roofing issue, call Brandon today. They'll come out and do a free roof inspection. They're licensed, bonded, and insured, and a member of the Better Business Bureau. You get a 5-year labor warranty on all roofs, and satisfaction's always guaranteed. They do work around the home as well. They can install shingles. They can put up gutters and fencing and siding, rotten wood repair, carpentry work, exterior painting. Your one-stop shop for all your home repair needs. If you can't do it yourself, call the experts at Pinnacle Roofing and Restoration. Again, locally owned and operated. Brandon is a graduate of Bolton High School, started this company from scratch, and it's doing very well because of people like you. So do yourself a favor. If you have an issue with the roof, you need a new roof, you need work around the home, call Brandon, 901-438-5084, or go online to newroofmemphis.com. When we come back, 10 in a row, the game show that has swept the nation. Jump on the phone lines right now at 360-8255. That's 360-8255. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Listen online anywhere, anytime at sports56whbq.com.
Put the Case IH legacy of power and efficiency to work in your hay fields and feedlot. Mid-South Ag Equipment has tough Case IH Farmall tractors that can handle a variety of chores fast. With their expert blend of engine and hydraulic power, Farmall tractors can easily tackle loading and material handling chores as well as mowing and baling. Models range from 65 to 90 horsepower, so you're sure to find one that's perfectly powered for the jobs you do. Stop in or call 662-890-3141 to learn more. That's Mid-South Ag Equipment, your Case IH headquarters.
A good friend of mine told me about this awesome place for lunch.
Oh, yeah? What's the name?
Neil's Grill and Bar, where the fat man rocks. Everybody knows Neil.
Where's it located?
It's located in Yorkshire Square off of Quince.
And what's it like?
The best lunch place in Memphis. You know, like real mashed potatoes and gravy. Everything is made from scratch. Monday through Friday, daily lunch specials like Monday baked chicken, Tuesday chicken fried steak, yum, fried chicken livers every Wednesday, Friday Salisbury steak, barbecue chicken, or if you just want a vegetable plate, the best veggies in town.
What about the lunch price?
Meat and 2 veggies, $7.95. Meat and 3 veggies, $9.99. And veggie plate, $8.95. Big fat boy portions, man.
Man, you're making me hungry. Let's go. You drive, I'll buy.
Come hear the best live local music at Neil's. Eddie Smith and the Memphis Spunk Horns, Reba Russell and the Natchez Band. Open 11 a.m. to 3 a.m. daily. Neil's Bar and Grill,
where the fat man rocks.
I don't
thing I really admire about Central Barbecue is their commitment to quality.
Then why do they let you do their commercials?
I'm talking about their food. Everything is prepared with devotion to taking the time and effort to create perfect barbecue.
Oh, I know. That's exactly why I was wondering why...
They're not kidding with that slow-smoked Memphis-style slogan. They smoke their pork for 14 hours. Do they have to? They do if they want to be the best barbecue in Memphis, and they are.
And yet they let you just throw together...
There's nothing better than Central Barbecue because they care.
Except apparently about their radio ads.
Come to Holly Chevrolet in Marion and get end-of-summer deals. Right now, save over $8,500 off MSRP on the strongest, most advanced Silverado ever. The all-new 2019 Chevy Silverado Crew Cab LT All-Star. All 2018s must go. Get a 2018 Malibu for as low as $22,995. Stop by today and check out Holly's large selection of new and pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs ready for you to enjoy. And at Holly Chevrolet, it's a no-pressure, no-hassle environment. As a matter of fact, there's no badgers and never pay a dock fee. Find new roads at Exit 14 off I-55 in Marion, just 15 minutes from downtown Memphis. HollyChevrolet.com.
2019 Chevy Silverado Crew Cab LT All-Star stock number N3558. 2018 Chevy Malibu stock number N3377. All discounts, rebates, and incentives are included and applied. Must qualify finance with GM Financial and have a 99 or newer GM product. Prices do not include tax, tags, title, or registration. Take delivery by 9/30/19. See dealer for details.
At CDW, we get that you need a network that keeps your business moving forward.
Us for not. Backwards everything do we.
Either way, CDW has experts who can design and implement a secure, innovative network built on Cisco DNA that learns and adapts to your needs to keep your business moving forward.
Idea good as that.
IT orchestration by CDW. It get who people. People who get it. Find out more at cdw.com/Cisco.
Are you tired of all the clouds and bad weather? Rain brings pollutants that can wreak havoc on your car's finish, but there is someone who can help. Car Wash USA Express has introduced their most advanced car wash yet with the exclusive Polymer Pro Wash, creating a stronger, more consistent protective sealant for your car's finish. Polymer Pro can only be found at Car Wash USA Express, where attendants are always on duty to keep you and your vehicle safe. For more information and locations, visit carwashusaexpress.com. Car Wash USA Express, because a dirty car is a dirty shame.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays, presented by FedEx. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
Welcome back to the show. Speaking of Car Wash USA Express, they are the sponsors of 10 in a row.
Not 5, not 6, not 7, not 8, not 9, but 10 in a row.
And we certainly appreciate that, and we appreciate you folks. Jump on the phone lines right now, 360-8255. That's 901-360-8255 as we play 10 in a row.
That's right. Car Wash USA Express, the easy and inexpensive way to keep your car clean and looking great with locations all over the area. If you just go to carwashusaexpress.com, you can find the list of the locations and find the one nearest you. Go on by there. It only takes about 3 minutes to run your car through the tunnel. Car wash is starting at just $7. Vacuums free with purchase. Just can't get any easier than that to keep your car clean and looking great with the help of Car Wash USA Express. The winner of 10 in a row will get a 6-pack of Polymer Pro washes from Car Wash USA Express, along with a $25 gift certificate to East Coast Wings and Grill. So, good prize pack for today's winner of 10 in a row.
Certainly is. We're going to do NBA since we are right around the corner. Again, we'll be over at FedEx Forum Monday for Grizzlies Media Day. Question's pretty simple. Current NBA playoff droughts of 2 or more seasons. So I'll give you a team. If
going easy on them today, huh, Greg?
Yeah, I think it could be a little tricky, but I think really at the bottom of this, it's easy. Current NBA playoff droughts of 2 or more seasons. So I'll give you a team. If they have not been to the playoffs in the last 2 seasons or more, it's a yes. If they've been to the playoffs if they were in the playoffs last season or the season before, it's a yes. So again, current NBA playoff droughts of 2 or more seasons. We need you to jump on the phone lines right now. We don't have a lot of time. I know the strategy is to wait to see who messes up, and you sit there and you grab and get that final one, you get the 10. But if we don't have the callers, I'm taking my ball and going home.
6-pack of Polymer Pro car washes from Car Wash USA Express and a $25 gift card to East Coast Wings and Grill going to the winner of 10 in a row today. 360-8255. 360-8255 is the phone number for the First Bank phone line to participate. And again, fairly easy category, I think, today. So you can get on in, be first. You know, if you're first and you win,
that means you're not last?
That means nobody else can.
Okay.
If you wait, somebody else may win before you, and you may never get your shot. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
And let me remind people, if you called the show already to talk about Brady White and the Tigers, which about 30 of you did, you are eligible to call back in to talk about anything else or to participate.
Well, to participate in this, you
are. Yeah. Well, if it was a different subject, but 10 in a row, certainly. And we got a terrific prize pack. So here, the phones are starting to ring now. Here we go. I know the strategy. You want to wait around. You don't want to be the guinea pigs, but I don't think this is that hard of a subject.
Again, 360-8255. 360-8255. Couple of open lines as we go to Steve to kick it off. Hello, Steve.
Hello, Steve.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Doing well. Steve ain't afraid of no ghosts. He'll go ahead first. Current NBA playoff droughts of 2 or more seasons. The Timberwolves.
Yes.
Oh. Maybe it's harder than I thought.
Next up, we go to Kyle. Hello, Kyle.
Hello, Kyle.
What's going on, guys?
Current NBA playoff droughts of 2 or more seasons. The Wizards.
Yes.
360-8255.
Not off to a good start. Joseph is next up. Hey, Joseph.
How you doing, guys?
Good,
doing
man.
well, Joseph. Okay. Current NBA playoff droughts of 2 or more seasons. The Timberwolves.
Yes.
360-8255. Not good. Maybe harder than I thought.
Got a couple of other folks getting in, but there is a couple of open lines here. If you want to participate, again, 6-pack of Polymer Pro washes from Car Wash USA Express and $25 to East Coast Wings and Grill for the winner. Let's see what Randy's got. What's up, Randy?
All right, Randy.
Hey, how's it going?
Going well. Wizards.
Yes.
All right, we're 0 for 4 here. It's not that hard, is it, Eli?
Timberwolves and Wizards are a no.
Yeah. Current NBA playoff droughts of 2 or more seasons. That means in the last 2 seasons they made the playoffs. May not have been last year. It may have been the year before. Obviously, it was the year before that. 360-8255. Who's next?
Let's go to Myron. What's up, Myron?
All right, Myron. Show us how it's done. You there?
Hey.
All right, here we go.
Here.
Timberwolves.
No.
Kings.
Yes.
Cavaliers.
No.
Hawks.
Yes.
Knicks.
Yes.
Celtics.
No.
Nets.
No.
Hornets.
Yes.
Suns.
Yes.
Pelicans.
Yes.
Oh, gosh. I thought he had it. He rolled through 9.
Very good.
So
run.
close.
Man, my room was good, but not good enough.
Andre is next. Hello, Andre.
What's up, Jack? Here we go. He's upsets list too, I can guarantee you that. All right, Wizards. Wizards.
Yes.
No.
Next up is Doug. Hey, Doug.
Doug.
Hey, how y'all?
All right, Doug. Hopefully you were listening carefully. Timberwolves.
No.
Kings.
Yes.
Cavaliers.
No.
Hawks.
Yes.
Knicks.
Yes.
Celtics.
No.
Nets.
No.
Hornets.
Yes.
Suns.
Yes.
Pelicans.
No.
There you go.
Congratulations, Doug. Well done. You are a winner. You've got yourself a 6-pack of Polymer Pro washes from Car Wash USA Express. You also have a $25 gift card to East Coast Wings and Grill coming your way. Hold on, Doug. Austin will take care of you.
Doug should be bringing Myron to lunch, I think. Myron set it up on a T form. Doug had to basically write down what he said and then answer that one final team. Eli,
Pelicans were a tricky one.
Yeah,
that was a tricky one.
There's a couple of them. That's why I said a couple of them. It could be interesting, but I think overall, I mean, you pretty much remember who were in the playoffs. Remember the Cavaliers stunk last year. They didn't have LeBron, but the year before that they did. So Eli, here we go. List 2. Current NBA playoff droughts of 2 or more seasons. Wizards.
No.
Trailblazers.
No.
Grizzlies.
Yes.
Magic.
Yes.
That's a no. Pacers.
No.
Lakers.
No.
Lakers is a yes. 6 years in a row. Pistons.
No.
Mavericks.
Yes.
Sixers.
No.
Heat.
No.
Not too bad. You missed one. Kings have the longest drought right now, 13. The Suns are second at 9.
Folks, for all your golf supplies, get on over and see Jay and the gang at Edwin Watts. New stuff. The new fall stuff is in Titleist, Callaway, TaylorMade, all of the folks, all the new clubs, all the stuff they've got coming out for the fall. It's there at Edwin Watts for you to check it out. You can go hit those new clubs in the store, in the hitting bays. Get feedback right there from the launch monitor. Compare different clubs, see how you hit them. And if you're looking to buy new clubs, they can also fit you. They'll fit you for free right there in the store at Edwin Watts. Whether it be clubs, gloves, balls, shoes, apparel, they have it all at Edwin Watts. A great selection. Go by, see them. They've also got a great staff to help you get fitted, like I said, for clubs or anything that you're looking for to maybe help your game. They can take care of you. Go by and see them. Poplar Perkins Extended in East Memphis. They're open 7 days a week to make it very convenient for you to go by and see them. For all your golf supplies, there's just nowhere else to go other than Edwin Watts.
Drew Hill from the Daily Memphian is next. We'll talk some Tigers hoops, then Barrett Sallee on college football. This is Middays. Hour 3 is coming up right here on Real Sports Talk. Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
I'm here interviewing Macaulay Williams, CEO of Big River Distilling Company here in Memphis. Macaulay, tell us about the uniqueness of your Blue Note Bourbon and Riverset Rye.
Well, Eli, both my products, Blue Note Bourbon and Riverset Rye, are produced right here in Memphis, Tennessee. The Blue Note Bourbon is a premium small batch blend, minimum age of 9 years, served at 93 proof. The Riverset Rye is a straight rye whiskey, also at 93 proof. It's a great spicy, herbaceous tone. It's great in cocktails.
Where can folks find the Blue Note Bourbon and Riverset Rye?
Both products can be found at any local liquor store here in Memphis and also at most bars and restaurants. Next time you're around the town, be sure to ask your bartender for a glass of Blue Note or Riverset.
And is there anywhere else that folks can get more information about your products?
Yeah, absolutely. At our website, BlueNoteBourbon.com or RiversetRye.com. Also, be sure to follow us on social media at Blue Note Bourbon or at Riverset Rye.
All right, well, that sounds great. I can't wait to try a bottle.
Yeah, Eli, I really appreciate the support, and hopefully you and your listeners can pick up a bottle today.
The doors never close 24 hours a day at Getaway Sports Bar, the best kept secret in town. Garvin, the owner, created this SEC NFL Dream Bar over 20 years ago. You'll never miss a minute of action. 12 TVs, 5 70-inch TVs for all the big games. Rack them up on 6 pool tables. Coldest beer in town, grab you a pool stick and get you some good bar grub. 100% Angus burgers, big and moist chicken tenders. Daily happy hour Monday through Friday, 2 to 6 p.m. with long neck domestics, $2. Getaway Sports Bar, 4632 Winchester.
Let's say you just bought a house. Bad news is, you're one step closer to becoming your parents, which means you're going to start telling your kids to clean up before the cleaning lady comes. Doesn't make sense, but you're the parent and they're the kids. You're going to start telling them that now, too. Good news is, it's easy to bundle home and auto through Progressive and save on your car insurance. And there's your opening to remind them who pays the bills around here. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Discount not available in all states or situations.
Hi, this is Troy Five-Ash, owner of Five-Ash Roofing. It is that time of year where the weather is unpredictable, and given the recent storms, it's a good time to discuss insurance claims. So here's a few things you should know. Always hire a local contractor, because if you have a problem with your roof down the road, you want to be able to find him. Never allow anyone to pressure you into signing a contingency contract. They're used as sales tools, making you feel committed, and the truth is, those contracts are not worth the paper they're written on. Be careful of door-knocking salesmen. Some are reputable, but many are not. They canvass the neighborhood and tell everyone to file a claim, working their percentages and not caring if you file a claim even when they know the likelihood of it being approved is low. Some will even damage your roof hoping to convince the adjuster it's storm damage. That's fraud, and contractors have gone to jail for that. So do your research and know who you're hiring. Five-Ash Roofing, the official roof of the University of Memphis Athletic Department. Fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
From
Folks, good news for bargain hunters and bandits from the Chevy Sheriff in Collierville. Sunrise Chevy has over 500 Chevys and used cars in stock just in time for the Sunrise Low Price Rodeo. Factory rebates up to $5,000, Sunrise discounts high as $8,000, and don't forget, Sunrise specializes in secondary financing. Need a good body shop? Bring it to Sunrise. We work on all makes and models. Remember, you can bring your Chevy to Sunrise for service no matter where you bought. Buy American and buy from Sunrise. There's always a sale at the Sunrise Chevy Ranch. Find new roads to 385 in Houston, Levy, and Collierville. Chevys cost less at Sunrise, partner.
Looking for great seafood? Head to the Half Shell, voted Memphis's favorite seafood 5 years in a row. Enjoy delicious seafood at the Half Shell for lunch and dinner, along with the Half Shell's extensive new wine list. Or relax at the bar, open daily until 3 a.m. For a great weekend, try Saturday and Sunday brunch at the Half Shell from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. The Half Shell, always Memphis's favorite. Available for private parties, catering, and daily box lunch delivery. The Half Shell, serving full food menu till 2 a.m. daily. 2 locations on Mendenhall and on Winchester.
125 seasons of Ole Miss football.
Caught by Deuce, he may go.
Dexter breaks a tackle.
Mike Wallace between 2 defenders.
The tradition continues.
He's to the end zone. Touchdown, Ole Miss. Breaks a tackle. He's gone down the sideline. Touchdown, Ole Miss. He is a beast.
Saturday, Ole Miss takes on Alabama. Pre-game coverage starts at 12:30 with kickoff at 2:30. Right here on your home for the Rebels.
Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7 FM.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports 56 Middays, presented by FedEx. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
Welcome back, everybody. 12:02 the time. Final hour for us today here on Sports 56 Middays. A little bit later on in the hour, Barrett Salee will join us to talk some college football. But now our good buddy Drew Hill from the Daily Memphian, who's the University of Memphis Tigers basketball beat writer. Tigers basketball practice is underway. You can follow Drew on Twitter at @DrewHill_DM. Of course, Memphis Madness coming up next Thursday. All right, my friend.
How's it going?
It's going well. Before we talk a little hoops, you were at the football game last night and wrote about one of Memphis's finest.
Yeah, I wrote about Move the Chains, Maine.
I actually, when they were showing on the
guy's name. That's his nickname, Move the Chains, Maine.
When they showed him on the board, and I saw the shirt, I was like, I actually kind of like that shirt. That's a pretty cool shirt. Like, I think
you can buy it. He tried to sell it in the interview. He was like, "Oh yeah, you could go to this website and $5 of the proceeds go to such and such." And I won't give him any free advertising on your show, but like, I mean, it was a pretty funny story. And Brady White was the storyline, and I knew Calkins was going to write that. Right. So I was like, all right, time to find the most interesting man in the building tonight, and that's Move the Chains, man.
I thought he may have been trying to sell the shirt off his back to Drew.
Oh, no.
Every time it seems like Memphis plays one of these like ESPN night games, somebody from the crowd goes viral.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, especially midweek.
It's like, it's amazing.
Real weird.
It's I mean, we had the Vanilla Gorilla. There's always somebody in the crowd that ends up doing something on the board that takes off across the country.
It's like Thursday or Tuesday night action and like all these weird midweek games. You just get, it just gets strange out there.
Well, you know what? It was par for the course last night because it was a strange game.
Yeah, no, that's was basically what I wrote. Was like, can you blame the guy for his dance? Like, his dance goes viral. You can't blame him. The game was weirder than the dance.
Well, from here on out, gets a little more serious as you start to write more and more about the Tigers and this highly anticipated season. And you have a series that you have already started called Made for Memphis, and it deals with all the Tigers players. I don't know how many stories you'll have, but you already have the first one out, and that was about Damian Ball.
Damian Ball, yeah, that's a subscribers-only story over at the Daily Memphian. The goal is to get every single player on the team.
Okay.
I think last year when I was at the CA, one of the things I felt like I did a good job of with whether it was the Kevin Davenport, playing basketball, living in the motel story, or Rainier Thornton changing homes over and over again, and that being the reason for why he was wearing the different colored shoes or whatever it was, the deep dive into these guys' lives that make them more of a human and less of just a basketball player robot to the eyes of all the fans was sort of what I would go for. and I felt like there was a good appreciation for that last year. Wanted to sort of duplicate that and take it to the next level. And so, yeah, I started this series. First was Damian Baugh. Next will be James Wiseman sometime soon. I'm in the process of writing that right now. But yeah, Damian Baugh was a great start. He's it kind of chronicled how he went from this really shy, really polite, quiet kid in Nashville to this guy that everybody saw in the Bahamas with a total mean streak, yelling at the other team, yelling at his teammates in a constructive way, and just playing like the guy that Penny Hardaway called a combo of Rajon Rondo and Gary Payton.
Right.
Like it's amazing. And what's funny about Damian is the second he gets off the floor and he goes to the media or into the locker room, he just totally turns that switch off, and he just becomes this really shy, quiet, polite kid again. It's totally crazy to see and hard to even believe unless you actually are there and you see it.
Do you think he'll be the one that probably surprises the most people? Because he kind of was the forgotten guy of this group, not as highly ranked as the others, but will play way above that level?
Yes, I do. Because one, I think he's the best true point guard on the team. Because he's so athletic. He's going to be really good defensively. He and Alo, I think, are probably the two best defensive guards, or that's what Penny said at his first news conference. It's funny, I wrote this story. I got a message from Memphis strength coach Darby Rich, who I think's been on the show before. Mm-hmm. He said, one, that the story was spot on, that, this is exactly Damian is a dog. He is a badass on the floor. And then the other thing that he said was, if the team is as good as people think they are going to be this season, if they live up to expectations, Damian Baugh will be just as important as Precious Achiuwa and James Wiseman.
Wow. Highly regarded in that sense. Do you have a feel yet? I know they've only had a few practices, but obviously they had the 10 preceding the trip to the Bahamas and then the exhibition games they played there. And while it probably doesn't matter in the long run who starts, have you gotten a feel yet from Penny as to who you think will be in the starting lineup opening night?
All indications sort of point to the fact that he's said over and over and over again that he's not afraid to start 5 freshmen. And at this point, I think he's going to start 5 freshmen. Although it's going to change. Like I am almost 100% sure that the 5 guys that they throw out there to start the season probably won't be the same 5 guys the rest of the year. It's going to take him a while to figure it out. He's got a lot of players, a lot of different options. Like, yes, it could be 5 freshmen. It could be, but at the same time, the way he praises Lance Thomas, the way he talks about Alex Lomax, we all think that, Tyler's such a good shooter and offensive player that he's a weapon and he could be in the starting lineup. There's too many options to go with the same 5 guys every single game. But as of right now, I think the most likely scenario is that you're probably going to see 5 freshmen out there to start the season.
Who would be the candidate, if there is one at all, of this heralded class that doesn't get the minutes that you thought they would? Is there anybody that's, because there's only so many minutes and there's so many players of consequence on this team. Is there somebody that's not going to?
No, I think they're all going to play. I mean, obviously Malcolm is hurt, so that we're not going to.
Yeah, I wasn't even considering.
We're
Malcolm.
not going to count him in this conversation. I guess if the question is a little bit less minutes than maybe you thought he might play, because he's definitely going to play, it might be Boogie Ellis, just because if Damian Baugh is as good as people are talking him up to be and as good as he looked in the Bahamas, then it's probably Boogie Ellis whose minutes are affected the most by him. But Boogie Ellis is still a great player and one of their best scorers and a good distributor, and he's going to play a lot of minutes. So, I mean, I guess that's the answer, but I think all of these freshmen are going to play.
Do you have anything from your sources on what kind of great performers we're going to see next Thursday night?
See, you guys are trying to get me in trouble. I'm not going into all that. No, I'll say this. From what I've heard, it sounds an awful lot like they are going to bring it this year, even more so than last year by quite a bit.
Really?
Yes. I'm expecting a couple of pretty big names. Again, I'm not going into specifics.
Yeah, you probably don't want to do that.
And it's going to be a good show. And I talked to one of the guys who's helped setting everything up, and obviously they've signed a non-disclosure agreement on all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So he wasn't the one. He can't tell me exactly, who the people are going to be or whatever, but he just was like, we're bringing it this year. We got a good budget. It's going to be a good show. And no, I'm fully expecting that there's going to be some very high level, higher than T-Pain. I don't know if you guys saw.
Yes, the
a little
UConn.
bit bigger names than T-Pain at UConn at Memphis Madness.
Here's what they should do. Have you heard of the show or watched the show The Masked Singer? Have you seen that yet on Fox?
Yeah, I've seen the advertisements.
Well, the person has the costume. You never see who they are until the reveal. That's what you do, and you never reveal them. And you just say, that was Timberlake, that was Drake, that was Eddie. And then you go, hey, man, they were there. They were just in the incognito. From a recruiting standpoint, who all is going to be there Thursday night next week that you know of?
Yeah, a lot of different guys. The big ones, obviously, Musa Cisse, Kennedy Chandler, in town at least. Chris Moore is there. Jalen Green. Going back to Chris Moore, I think that's going to be interesting because he's one of the guys that's supposed to commit early. And from what I've heard, after Chris Moore goes to Memphis Madness, I would not be shocked if the coaching staff turns the heat up on him and they're like, we need a commitment. Like now.
He's the kid from West Memphis, right?
Right, the kid from West Memphis. So I think that's the next move for him is that, yes, he has other visits planned to Auburn and Iowa State and other places in Arkansas. I think he already went on his Arkansas official visit. But that's going to be the next move is they're going to say, all right, it's time. And I think that the family at least is expecting Memphis to turn the heat up on them at Memphis Madness and after Memphis Madness. And then, of course, Jalen Green is the centerpiece of this recruiting class.
Right.
He is the guy. And if you land Jalen Green, you're going to put yourself in a good spot to finish with the top 10 class. If you don't land Jalen Green, it's going to get a little bit tricky. Like the names are going to change significantly, I think, because these guys have been talking to each other for months now about, okay, well, what if we go to Memphis together or whatever else? And just like we didn't see Precious Achua and Lester come into the picture until later, you're probably going to have that happen again. And then in terms of just recruiting in general, I know that the narrative right now is they're casting this wide net. That's just the way people have been putting it. Casting a wide net. They're expanding their options over and over and over again, going to all these different places, looking at all these different kids. Is it because they think they're going to strike out? No. Like, I don't think they're going to – I don't think that's the case at all. It's just that you don't have DJ here. You don't have James here this year. You don't have these kids that are just at your fingertips. And so you have to do your due diligence on a lot more guys to figure out who's going to fit your system and who you actually – have a realistic chance at landing.
All right, so let me ask you a question. If you cast this wide net, and there are certain players like Green that you really, really want, and these other guys that you offer, okay, you're interested, but you'd rather have these other guys. And those, I don't want to say bottom guys, they're still good players, but they commit early. They say, yeah, we're going to Memphis. What happens there then when you have too many of those guys and you're still waiting for the big guys?
That's part of the puzzle piece. That's part of like putting all this together is knowing. Because like you don't think that those guys who may not be their number one or number two priority don't realize that. Like they know that they want to commit early so that they have their spot locked in.
You would think.
Well, I mean, that, and you also have the possibility of somebody coming in later, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, where's all my playing time my freshman year going to go? Because they just recruited over me. But to answer that question, that's just something that they're going to have to figure out. It's something that almost every single college coach has to figure out is, okay, they make these offers to these kids, but the reality in college basketball is, with every team that's recruiting high-level talent, some of these offers are offers, but I don't know how committable they are.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you might have a Memphis offer, but if you wanted to commit to Memphis right now, would they actually take you? Yes, you have a Duke offer, but if you wanted to commit to Duke right now, would they take you? That's sort of the question, especially when they're in the mix for these guys. The good news for Memphis is Jalen Green is supposed to commit on Christmas Day, which is relatively early because it gives you the full spring, and you'll sort of have some answers there.
The latest ESPN mock draft for next year came out with Wiseman number 1 overall. Do you expect him to have the type of year here that would put him at number 1 overall?
Yes, because you don't even need to do that much to be the number 1 overall pick in that scenario. I actually went back a couple weeks ago, and I was just curious. I was looking through the stats. If you look at what Anthony Davis did at Kentucky, sure, he was a great rebounder, a great shot blocker, but he didn't take a lot of shots on offense. And while he was efficient and good, he played alongside a lot of really good players. And so NBA teams understood that, and he didn't have to do as much. DeAndre Ayton did everything for Arizona when he was drafted number 1 overall. Andrew Bogut was drafted number 1 overall, and he didn't even do that much stats-wise.
They understand your supporting cast. They understand who's around you.
They understand what's around you, and I think that the reason, if you were to take Anthony Edwards, who's the number 2 player in the country, and James Wiseman right now, and you were to ask an NBA team why you would take James ahead of Anthony Edwards, I think the answer is easy in that while Anthony Edwards right now might be a better scorer than James Wiseman, might be a more NBA-ready guy right now than James Wiseman has this unlimited potential because he's 7 feet tall. He can move the way that he does. If he ends up shooting even better, he turns into the highest possible ceiling for a James Wiseman type player is like a Kevin Durant. Mm-hmm. You're a 7-footer. You can move really well. You can run the floor. You can shoot. You're extremely versatile, or even an Anthony Davis type if you're James Wiseman. So that's why you take James Wiseman number 1 overall, not because he puts up 25 points and 10 rebounds every game in college. And that's why he will go number 1 overall.
They had, I think, Precious, they had at number 11, I think maybe in that one.
Yeah,
was it number 11?
Mm-hmm.
Would you guess higher or lower than that for him?
That's tough because I think that's right around where he will go. With him, it's gonna be a matter of showing that he doesn't have sort of these flaws that people tried to knock him for when he showed up, which is that he's just not very polished on the offensive end or whatever. I think Precious is going to be fine. I think he's a great player. I think if you made me go higher or lower, I think he gets drafted a little earlier than that. Okay. But again, he's playing next to James Wiseman. It'll be interesting to see. Now, James could actually end up affecting Precious if he grabs every rebound. That might actually make a difference. But you just look at Precious. I think he's a lot bigger than people thought he was. I know he's bigger than what I thought he was.
Bigger than what I thought.
Really big boy.
Certainly
because
bigger.
when we went to that practice, I was looking at him like, damn, this guy is really tall.
If you watch this team get off the bus, they're going to win every single game because they're going to scare the hell out of you.
Exactly. And I thought Isaiah Stokes was a size 20 shoe. His feet are massive. He is a giant dude. They're like first team all bus.
All right, got about a minute and a half. Two final things. First of all, real quick, the team fad move to Nike.
Yes.
What does it mean for maybe the University of Memphis, if anything?
Well, I think it's a good thing just because Hurd and Penny seem to have a good relationship right now. You got 3 guys on Memphis right now that played for Team Thad. Tyler Harris, Damian Baugh, and DJ briefly. So those two guys have sort of rebuilt their relationship. They were going against each other at one point, and will both admit that they probably didn't like each other very much. But now they have this mutual respect for one another. And if you don't think that at some point, Nike went to Penny and was like, hey, you think we should get Hurd on board? I'm sure Penny would have said, yeah. So I think at this point, that can only be good news. And also, when you're on the Nike circuit, you just have Nike just has better players in in these AAU programs. So, and I think you're going to see that. I think there's a really good chance Kennedy and Musa Cisse are both going to play for Team Thad.
Yes, interesting. All right, I won't hold you to it, but who will be the top 3 scorers in order for Memphis this upcoming season?
Wow, that's tough. DJ's in there. I got to go in order.
Yeah.
I forgot. I'll still go DJ 1. I'll go DJ 1.
DJ, wow.
I will go DJ 1 because he's that's what he is. He's just a great scorer. And then this is so tough. This is extremely difficult. Lester Quinones, I think he's going to be a starter too. And he's a great shooter, so there's a lot of potential for points. And James or Precious. I mean, it's take your pick. I just don't know how much the post players are going to shoot because I think teams are just going to collapse on them because they can't do anything to stop either Precious or James.
Well, we can't wait. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. Drew Hill's going to have you covered, folks, over at the Daily Memphian, their Tigers basketball beat writer. And don't forget the Made for Memphis series, which is out now. James Wiseman about to drop. Damian Ball's already out there. So get a subscription and make sure you read Drew. You can also follow Drew at DrewHill_DM on Twitter. Thank you, my friend.
Anytime, guys.
Appreciate it. Have a great weekend. When we come back, Barrett Sallee on college football. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Sports Time with Rollo and Stacks. Every weekday afternoon from 3 till 6. Right here on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
These seats are amazing.
Shoot it!
We deliver tickets, team merchandise, and everything you need to get ready for the game. But what you really get when FedEx knocks on your door is so much more.
FedEx Delivery.
Game day spirit. What we deliver by delivering.
I almost never go to Central Barbecue without running into somebody I know.
That could be because you only eat at Central Barbecue.
It's because Central Barbecue is where Memphians go to get barbecue and has consistently been voted the most popular barbecue restaurant among locals.
Actually, that's really saying something.
I know. Memphis is the nation's capital of barbecue. With all the choices, people who live here go to Central Barbecue.
They do get their share of tourists.
Sure, because Central Barbecue has been mentioned on TV and in tons of national publications. You know why?
Because of the great food?
Because those TV shows and magazines look for the place where the locals go, and that, my friend, is Central Barbecue.
A good friend of mine told me about this awesome place for lunch.
Oh, yeah? What's the name?
Neil's Grill and Bar, where the fat man rocks. Everybody knows Neil.
Where's it located?
It's located in Yorkshire Square off of Quince.
And what's it like?
The best lunch place in Memphis. You know, like real mashed potatoes and gravy. Everything's made from scratch. Monday through Friday, daily lunch specials like Monday baked chicken, Tuesday chicken fried steak, yum, fried chicken livers every Wednesday, Friday Salisbury steak, barbecue chicken, or if you just want a vegetable plate, the best veggies in town.
What about the lunch price?
Meat and 2 veggies, $7.95. Meat and 3 veggies, $9.99. And veggie plate, $8.95. Big fat boy portions, man.
Man, you're making me hungry. Let's go. You drive, I'll buy.
Come hear the best live local music at Neil's. Eddie Smith and the Memphis Spunk Horns, Reba Russell and the Natchez Band. Open 11 a.m. to 3 a.m. daily. Neil's Bar and Grill.
Where the fat man rocks.
Come to Holly Chevrolet in Marion and get end-of-summer deals. Right now, save over $8,500 off MSRP on the strongest, most advanced Silverado ever. The all-new 2019 Chevy Silverado Crew Cab LT All-Star. All 2018s must go. Get a 2018 Malibu for as low as $22,995. Stop by today and check out Holly's large selection of new and pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs ready for you to enjoy. And at Holly Chevrolet, it's a no-pressure, no-hassle environment. environment. As a matter of fact, there's no Badgers and never pay a dock fee. Find new roads at exit 14 off I-55 in Marion, just 15 minutes from downtown Memphis. HollyChevrolet.com.
2019 Chevy Silverado Crew Cab LT All-Star stock number N3558. 2018 Chevy Malibu stock number N3377. All discounts, rebates, and incentives are included and applied. Must qualify and finance with GM Financial and have a 99 or newer GM product. Prices do not include tax, tags, title, or registration. Take delivery by 9/30/19. See dealer for details.
If it's time for a new gun, rifle, or silencer, Tactical Guns and Gear in Collierville on Highway 72 is the best place to go. I promise they have the newest, most exciting selection of guns and silencers you could ever want. I don't care if you shoot for fun, hunt, or just need a gun for personal protection, Tactical Guns and Gear has the best selection of firearms around. The only one-stop silencer shop in Tennessee. In less than 10 minutes, they do all the paperwork. Take your photo, originate gun trust, take your prints electronically, and the best part, you never have to scan them again. Yes, silencers are legal. No special licensing, just a simple background check. Silencers don't make your firearms silent. They simply reduce noise for more enjoyable shooting, help protect against hearing loss, reduce recoil. It makes you more accurate. Best silencer place in the entire state of Tennessee, right here in Collierville. For all things guns and gear, ask for Jake or Jim at Tactical Guns and Gear on Highway 72 and tell them Eli says hi. Online at tacticalgunsandgear.com.
Hey Tiger fans, this is John Stacy of the Blue and Gray Show. You can hear Drew Barrett and I talk Tigers with Tigers every Sunday at 5 right here on Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7. Drew, who do we got in the studio with us this week?
This week on the show, Danton Bartow will be in studio with John and I as we recap the Thursday night matchup against the Navy midshipmen and look down the road at Louisiana Monroe.
Thanks, Drew. We'll be here Sunday on Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7. The Blue and Gray Show, where we talk Tigers with Tigers.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays presented by FedEx.
Here once again
are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
We're caught in a trap. I can't walk out.
Welcome back, everybody. 12:27 is the time. A little over a half hour to go for us this week here on Sports 56 Middays. But don't forget, Johnny Radio's Happy Hour is coming up next. It's Friday. It's the college football season. That means it's time for Barrett Sallee.
It's time to talk some college football on Sports 56 Middays. Joining Greg and Eli is Barrett Sallee from CBSSports.com, CBS Sports HQ, and SiriusXM Radio. Now, here's Barrett with Greg and Eli.
Barrett Sallee joining us here on the program. You can also follow him on Twitter at Barrett Sallee. How are you, my friend?
I'm good. I just arrived in Tuscaloosa, going to watch Alabama dial up a score against Ole Miss on CBS, and it'll be fun.
37.5, I think, was the last time I looked at the odds for the game, and that is the largest dog the Rebels have ever been in their history.
Yeah, and it might not be enough, honestly. Look, it's not it is a slight to Ole Miss, but Alabama can't run the football, and so Alabama's going to try their best to run the football, which means it's going to be at the expense of the Ole Miss Rebels and the stat sheet.
All right, Barrett, I wanted to ask you first off, and I'm not sure if you watched the Tigers game last night, the Memphis game against Navy. But the Boo Birds came out in full force in the first half after the struggles of mainly Brady White, but it was also booing for the team. And then in the second half, the Tigers looked really, really good and ended up winning that game by 12 and actually covered the spread. But my question to you is about the Boo Birds. Is all fair in love and war? Are you fine with that?
With college kids, maybe not so much. First, I appreciate the Memphis Tigers covering. That was helpful. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, with college kids, I tend to say, that's a little over the line. I mean, look, people will say they're uncompensated. They're marginally compensated through different avenues. They're athletes, they're kids, and so booing kids for a bad half of football, I think that's a little over the top. Professional athletes, sure, you're getting paid a ton of money. Do your job. This is not really a job for these guys. And so, the time dedication is, but I think with the fact that they're college students and the fact that they're, not getting a paycheck for this, ease up on them a little bit. It's hard to play college football, and it's really hard to be consistent playing college football. And Brady White wasn't consistent, so give him a break, man.
Barrett, you're going to see Ole Miss tomorrow, as you said, but going back to last week, what was your take on the end of the game with Ole Miss and Cal?
It was weird, right? Like, he didn't get in. It was not a touchdown. But, should they have whistled down to review it? Yeah, I mean, I thought they should have whistled down to review it. And the weird thing is, like, by Ole Miss actually getting on the ball to spike it and running or getting on the ball to run a play at the it was 1 second to go, actually probably lost them the game, because had they just sat there or just been ultra confused and not done anything, then that play would have been reviewed.
Yeah.
If the clock went to zeros and they hadn't run a play, they could still review it. We've seen a game end on a review. Auburn LSU from 2016 did. So, I mean, it was the Pac-12 officials should have buzzed down. There's no doubt about that. And almost counterintuitive, though, for Ole Miss, they probably shouldn't have snapped the ball, but there's no reason for them to think like that in a span of 3-4 seconds. So it was unfortunate. In the end, it was the right call. But if you have replay, use it. And I know they said, well, it was pretty obvious on the field. I don't think it was obvious on the field. And even if it was relatively obvious to the side judge, it still warrants another look.
What did you think of the performance of the freshman John Rice Plumlee?
I thought he did fine. I mean, given the situation, I thought he was fine. It's a good Cal defense. And, for him to lead or at least pseudo lead a comeback or almost comeback, I mean, it's hard to do that on the fly, and he did it. So I was impressed. I thought he did good. That was Cal, and Cal's a good defense. Is it Alabama? No. So if he has to play tomorrow, then that's going to be, I think, a little bit more problematic, especially considering there's a little bit of tape on him now. But no, I mean, I thought he did fine. That's a tough situation to be in. It's a tough defense to face. And all things considered, I thought that Ole Miss fans should be excited about it, and at the very least, let the rest of the Ole Miss fan base know that Matt Corral's still the guy, but somebody else can take the reins and do all right too if needed, if called upon.
We didn't have you on last Friday. You had some television responsibilities, so we haven't had a chance yet to ask you about the situation in Houston, which just seems weird as heck with De'Ara King, and there's a receiver as well that are going to redshirt and they're going to stay out. And there was talk that, well, he's going to come back to Houston. He wants to come back to Houston, but there's also the possibility that he doesn't play again. He goes to the NFL or tries to anyway, that he goes into the transfer portal. How weird is this one, Barrett, on a scale 1 to 10?
It's up there in terms of redshirting, 4-game redshirt / transfer portal era. This is very bizarre. It's not something that I expected. And look, if they want to come back, that's fine. I don't believe that. I think there's something going on beneath the surface, and I don't think either one of them will play for Houston again for a lot of different reasons. And if that is the case, then the story that is being portrayed by Dana Holgorsen would actually make a ton of sense. Because if you're, Keith Corbin and De'Ara King, you don't want to be viewed as a quitter. And if you're Dana Holgorsen, you don't want to be viewed as having an out-of-control program. So selling what they sold, they're going to come back, they're going to leave the team, we're going to do a hard reset, and things will be fine. That benefits both parties if there is a discord. At the same time, if what they sold is accurate, then Dana Holgorsen might have found the ultimate loophole to basically say, all right, 1-3 start, let's hit the reset button, come back next year and see what we got. Yeah. There's a whole lot going on. But again, I think the front they're putting on is just that at the front. I think there's a whole lot going on in the locker room that caused this, and I think, like I said, I think the sales job that they're putting on right now is, I think, just basically something to buy time until the end of the season, when ultimately King and Corbin move on somewhere else.
Auburn last week, very impressive on the road at Texas A&M. Mississippi State coming in, can the Bulldogs give them a battle?
A little bit of a battle. Like, Auburn's going to play a ton of close games. Their defense is great. Their offense is not. They don't block all that well. Running seems to be just a massive chore for a team that shouldn't have that, issue. And then they don't throw over the middle and don't have an effective passing game all that much. So, they can, because Auburn's going to play the way Auburn plays. They're going to play defense. They're going to try to drain the clock. They're going to try to keep things close to the vest in the passing game. And ultimately, that's all that they do have. It's the same team as last year. For them to go on the road and get a win, that's enormous, because that turns them, in my mind, from an 8-win team into a 9-win team. And at the same time, it also gives them time to potentially, bring Bo Nix along and incorporate more of the offense into the game plan. I don't necessarily think they'll do that, but it gives them the option. But, I mean, you go back and look at what this offense is and what this offense was, it completely ignores short and intermediate passes over the middle, which are staples of an RPO offense. I think they've thrown 7 passes on short and intermediate routes over the middle all year, which is mind-boggling to me. And it's the same thing that happened last year, and really it's the same thing that happened in 2017 until they played Texas A&M in November, when they remembered they could do that, and they won the SEC West as a result. So, at Mississippi State, one-dimensional, Tommy Stevens, Garrett Schrader, who knows who it's going to be. Neither one of those guys are going to be able to win with their arm. Kylan Hill will make it harder for Auburn to stop the run, but I'll take, and I love Kylan Hill, but I'll take Auburn's defense to slow him down enough to force the quarterback to win with his arm, and I just don't think that's possible, not with Stevens or Garrett Schrader.
Barrett Sallee joining us from Tuscaloosa, of course, CBS Sports HQ, Sirius XM College Radio. You can follow him on Twitter at Barrett Sallee. It's no surprise Ohio State's really good. They were 5th in the preseason poll, and they play at Nebraska, where Scott Frost has a chance, if he could pull off a miracle, basically, to get his first signature win as coach of Nebraska. But just how good is Ohio State?
Really good. Complete football team. I mean, I know they ain't played nobody, but nobody plays anybody in college football until the playoff anyway, so let's throw that argument out the window. Their defense is next level good. I mean, think about last year. They gave up, 34 points to Oregon State in the opener. They're 3rd in the nation right now in scoring defense, 2nd in defensive yards per play. That's really important. So, Justin Fields is the poster boy, and he's the superstar, and he should be, because he's been awesome for them. The real MVP right now is that defense. And I put Ohio State in my playoff before the season. I thought they were a team that was good enough to get to the playoff, but not necessarily win it, mostly because of the defense. After watching them play, they're very capable of winning the playoff. They are a complete football team with a tremendous upside offensively and a defense that will lock you down. And as long as that second part stays true, they're going to be a tough out.
You said that nobody plays anybody until the playoff. It seems to me like this year's schedule has been really bad so far. Like week after week, I keep thinking, all right, this is the week we're going to get some really good matchups, and then I go, oh, wait a second, where are the good matchups? Like this week, you get 2 battles of ranked teams, both of them are double-digit lines. Like I don't know. It seems weird. Like there just hasn't been as good a matchups, and maybe I'm just wrong on that. But it just seems weird this year.
It does, because I think the top 6. I think the only new inclusion of the top 6 that maybe is a surprise is LSU, but it's not like they were devoid of talent either. They just had to between the ears remember that offense is the thing you actually have to do in college football, and they did. Good for them. But really, like none of the big boys, none of the title contenders have had that moment where they lose a game or really even get tested. And behind them, there have like a Penn State team, hasn't necessarily shown that it can have, a consistent offense. Auburn really hasn't either. So some of these other 4-0 teams, while they're really good and have potential to be great, they haven't had really that moment either. So because the deck hasn't really been reshuffled yet, I think, you're probably right. That could change. I mean, like, look, what if Penn State wins 60-6 over Maryland tonight, or what if Nebraska gives Ohio State a scare? Or not saying this will happen because I don't think it will, but what if I'm watching Ole Miss actually test Alabama, which again probably not the case, but you haven't had like one of those moments where one of the powers loses or looks vulnerable, and until that happens, I think it's just you're going to see a little bit of this. You're going to see weekends where from a national perspective, you're not you're not counting on a ton to happen.
Yeah, because I mean, like even like last week, and you go back. I mean, the LSU Texas game was a really good game, but like last week, I mean, the Georgia Notre Dame game ended up fairly close, but Georgia was never going to lose that game. Like never any time did you think, oh my gosh, Notre Dame's got a chance. Auburn goes in, dominates A&M. Like it's like these matchups that are supposed to be the good ones haven't really developed into a whole lot other than a few along the way. There's been some good games on some other stuff, like the UCF Pitt game ended up being great last week, but it's just week after week there hasn't been a whole lot of matchups of ranked teams, and the ones that have happened haven't been that good a lot of the time.
No, and the ones that have been good were supposed to be good.
Yeah.
Right? Like Auburn, Oregon was supposed to be good.
Yep.
Texas, LSU was supposed to be good. So yeah, I mean, it's. I think that's kind of the day and age we're in with, teams that recruit so well and teams that have the coaches like the big boys do. You kind of do see that separation. I do think that might change at some point. I don't necessarily know how or not necessarily know when, but I mean, the Alabama, Clemson, like those teams are great. They're still college kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like they're still going to have moments where they do really dumb things. I don't care how well they're coached. So you just don't know where it's going to come from. You can't plan on it. So it's kind of hard to get excited about games where you're not planning on shenanigans to happen. But it's going to happen at some point. But because of that, the anticipation level is just not there.
All right. With that said, final thing for you. Knowing that they are, basically young men, sometimes still boys, and sometimes a team doesn't get up for a team that's inferior in competitiveness, at least on paper. Right now, we're about a third of the way through the regular season. What now? How much of a chance do you believe Clemson, Ohio State, Oklahoma, and either Georgia or Alabama, LSU maybe, go undefeated?
Oh, man. Well, I don't think – well, Alabama or Georgia won't. LSU won't. I still think Alabama and Georgia get to the playoff. Clemson will be undefeated. I think Oklahoma will split with Texas.
You do? Okay.
One in the Big 12 championship game, one in the Red River Shootout. Ohio State, I think I had Ohio State losing to Penn State late in the year. Not terribly confident about that. We'll see tonight, though. Penn State on the road at Maryland is going to be interesting tonight. So I'd like to say I'm pretty confident that there'll be at least 3 undefeated teams, but there were 3 last year, and I think still that's the outlier. So like I said, I think there'll be some traps and some twists and some turns along the way. So yeah, if I had to say right now, I think there will be 2 undefeated teams.
Well, at least one
Alabama / Georgia, and then Clemson.
And then one thing we know, one of those undefeated teams will not be UCF.
No, that is correct, and we can all thank Fish for that.
I knew you were going to say something like that. He is Barrett Sallee, CBS Sports HQ, Sirius XM College Radio. He's everywhere. You can follow him on Twitter at Barrett Sallee. Catch him every Friday here on Middays. Thanks, Barrett. Enjoy the weekend in Tuscaloosa.
All right, thanks, boys. See you.
Somebody texted in on the first big text side, said, Georgia was losing at the half. Yeah, I get that. I'm talking about when the game's on the line, fourth quarter. There was no threat of Notre Dame winning that game. Georgia came out second half. They took control of that game. And once they got up 10, you could just tell Notre Dame offensively just wasn't going to be able to do it.
Yes, as you analyze it and what was going on as we watched the game. But here's the thing. We all thought it was going to be a double-digit roll for Georgia, and it was not. So that was still a good game. There were 2 ranked teams. We thought it was going to be a blowout. Obviously, Notre Dame fans felt that their team could hang, and they did. They proved a lot of people wrong.
Folks, Golf and Games Family Park with their new Top Tracer technology on the range. They've got a cool thing coming up this fall. It's actually going to start on October 2nd, every single Wednesday. It is their 2-person fall league. It's $10 per person per week, and then a $50 one-time fee for the cash pot. But they're going to be paying out teams. You're going to be playing Pebble Beach, St. Andrews, and Spyglass, competing against other teams of 2 for some cash prizes. And they're going to do this each and every Wednesday. You can get all of the information about this fall league. Again, it starts next Wednesday, October the 2nd, at golfandgamesmemphis.com, or you can email them, info@golfandgamesmemphis.com. And if you've not been over there to try out the Top Tracer technology, playing these golf courses like Pebble Beach, St. Andrews, Spyglass, and others on the virtual golf that they've got over there, it is a lot of fun. That's one of the many things you could do with that Top Tracer technology. Great for working on your game, great for the virtual golf, team competitions, or just individual competitions with your friends going out there as a group. They've got long drive. They've got it closest to the pin. You could play a points game where you try and hit it as close as you can to the various targets that are out there. And they've got a bunch of different targets at all different lengths. It's just a lot of fun. The technology is amazing. And again, if you want to get involved with their new 2-person fall league starting next Wednesday, get all the information at golfandgamesmemphis.com or email info@golfandgamesmemphis.com. You can find all about it, competing for cash prizes against others out at Golf and Games Family Park, 5484 Summer Avenue, open till midnight.
When we come back, our final segment, bad news for the Lakers, and got some baseball to get into. We'll wrap it up with one final thing, possibly squeeze in a text or two before we say goodbye. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Take Sports 56 with you on your phone or tablet. Download our official Sports 56 app today.
Hi, this is Troy Five Ash, owner of Five Ash Roofing. If you're in need of a roof, there's no better place to start than Five Ash Roofing. No matter what your situation is, we have you covered. We can walk you through the insurance process without committing fraud like many of my competitors. You'd be surprised how many times salesmen and contractors will manufacture storm damage just so they can get a sale. We do residential, multifamily, and commercial work. We're certified in every form of roofing we offer. Our labor warranties are for the life of the shingle, and we don't charge extra for that. And to my knowledge, there's no other roofing company in Memphis offering that level of security. And if that's not enough, we offer a best price guarantee. We are the official roofer of the University of Memphis Athletic Department and a proud member of the Tigers home team. Five Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
A good friend of mine told me about this awesome place for lunch.
Oh, yeah? What's the name?
Neil's Grill and Bar, where the fat man rocks. Everybody knows Neil.
Where's it located?
It's located in Yorkshire Square off of Quince.
And what's it like?
The best lunch place in Memphis. You know, like real mashed potatoes and gravy. Everything's made from scratch. Monday through Friday, daily lunch specials, like Monday baked chicken, Tuesday chicken fried steak. Yum! Fried chicken livers every Wednesday, Friday Salisbury steak, barbecue chicken, or if you just want a vegetable plate, the best veggies in town.
What about the lunch price?
Meat and 2 veggies, $7.95. Meat and 3 veggies, $9.99. And veggie plate, $8.95. Big fat boy portions, man.
Man, you're making me hungry. Let's go. You drive, I'll buy.
Come hear the best live local music at Neil's, Eddie Smith and the Memphis Spunk Horns, Reba Russell and the Natchez Band. Open 11 a.m. to 3 a.m. daily. Neil's Bar and Grill,
where the fat man rocks.
How you doing, people? And if it's a Chevy you're looking for, any new Chevy, Olive Branch is where you need to go. New 2020 Silverados and Blazers are at All Star Chevrolet, ready for you to drive today. Traverse, Equinox, Impala, best new All Star Chevy lineup ever. And most have 0 for 72 financing. So give these Chevys a test run. Roll the windows down. Enjoy the weather. Crank the music up. Pretend like the car is going to be yours, because it is going to be yours. And best of all Star has the ABCs. A, the All-Star Challenge. Take any written offer from any Mid-South auto dealer to All-Star Chevrolet, and you can get a better deal, new or pre-owned, or they buy you a tank of gas. B, best buying experience, period. No wasting your time. They make it easy. And C, customer care. You're all in. Loaner cars, free oil changes. It's the All-Star family, and they're going to treat you like that. It's not South Haven, not the Pike, not Collierville. It's got to be Olive Branch. Find new roads to All-Star Chevrolet or go to allstarautogroup.com.
At Jason's Deli, you can stuff yourself full of great deli food that's healthy, fresh, and best of all, it's not expensive. Jason's Deli is all about choice. Whether you're looking for a gluten-free menu, vegetarian sandwiches, healthy kids meals, or if you'd like to invent your sandwich via the build your own selections, Jason's Deli has you covered. And they only use fresh, wholesome ingredients. Choose from the club and specialty sandwiches, paninis, wraps, soups, salads, pastas, and much more. I love the cleanliness in the restaurant, the hospitality, and of course the cost. They have a huge salad bar and great soups, including Southwest chicken chili, fire roasted tortilla, organic vegetable, tomato basil, and many, many more. And if you're planning an event, their catering department is fantastic and can handle any size party. Go check out Jason's Deli's 4 locations. On Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, that's my favorite, on Germantown Parkway in Cordova, at Poplar and Highland, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays presented by FedEx.
Here once again
are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
Let's do it.
Just yesterday, we were talking about the Lakers. When Pete Medhurst was in, we were asking about the teams who should have the most, not pressure, but expectations in the NBA to maybe win it all. We talked about, well, where are the Lakers? I think you had them 4th and Pete had them 3rd in the top 5 of the 5 teams I gave you. And Kyle Kuzma was that 3rd guy. We say, well, they got LeBron, they got Anthony Davis. Well, now Kuzma is out indefinitely with a stress reaction in his foot. He's going to miss all of camp, and who knows how much more time he'll miss once the season starts. Don't know, I'm not a doctor, but Kyle Kuzma on the shelf. From the world of Major League Baseball, this is the final weekend of the regular season. What you got to keep an eye on, folks, with 3 games left, the American League wild card is a battle between 3 teams for 2 spots. Oakland leads Tampa Bay by 1. Cleveland is 2 behind Tampa Bay, so Cleveland's in a little bit of trouble. And then for the National League Central title, St. Louis has a 1-game lead over Milwaukee, and the Cardinals are hosting your Cubbies.
Yeah, the Cubs probably going to end the season with a 12-game losing streak. They're not going to try real hard, and Joe Madden made that clear, and he doesn't care what Milwaukee thinks about it.
Also, Marty Brennaman wrapping up an amazing career as the voice of the Reds. King Felix, his career in Seattle looks to be over, and we'll see if he moves on to another team because he's not yet ready to retire. Just a couple of things happening in the world of baseball.
Yeah, the Red Sox-Rangers game from last night, or yesterday afternoon, caused a lot of controversy. I guess Mike Minor really wanted 200 strikeouts. If you want 200 strikeouts that bad, more power. If that's enough for you to have guys not catching pop-ups.
So bush league.
I don't know why 200 strikeouts is that big of a deal, but my goodness gracious, that was pretty amazing to see the battle going on there for him to either get or not get 200 strikeouts for the season.
Apparently it wasn't minor to him.
It was
well, very major.
And the Red Sox were trying the 8th inning, he threw 3 pitches. All 3 guys came up, swing at the first pitch, and got out. Like, they clearly were not trying. They were trying not to strike out, so he couldn't get it. And then the Rangers went the extra mile, saying he's yelling at the first baseman not to catch a foul pop-up so that he could strike the guy out. But, all right, congratulations on your 200 strikeouts, Mike Minor. Seems like
you're headed to Cooperstown.
That's a great accomplishment, but nobody will care about whatsoever in a week other than you, I guess. Not like we're remembering the 200 strikeout seasons in Major League Baseball history. East Coast Wings and Grill, folks, if you're looking to get out, watch all the action, whether it be college football, NFL football, East Coast Wings is a great place to do it with all the TVs that they've got, plus great food, cold beer, great drinks, all at East Coast Wings and Grill. 60 different flavors of wings, all available in 7 different heat indexes. Great selection of draft beers. Bottled beer, of course, as well. And, yeah, you can get the White Claw. You can get the White Claw there. That's right. Great food other than the wings, too, on the menu. It's all fresh, never frozen stuff like juicy Angus burgers, flatbread, sausage and cheese plate. They're very family-friendly as well. Monday is wing day. Thursday, they've got 65-cent boneless wings. Happy hour Monday through Friday from 3:30 to 6 and 9 to close. All kinds of good stuff. But the action going on this weekend, go check it out with all the games at East Coast Wings and Grill, just off Highway 64 next to the Lowe's. It's basically between Lowe's and Walmart, just off Highway 64. East Coast Wings and Grill. Time for one final thing.
Before Greg and Eli get out of here for the day, they each have one final thing they think you should know to make it through the rest of your day. So here are Greg and Eli with one final thing.
Well, it's becoming a pretty decent possibility that Tony Romo will not be working with his friend Jim Nantz this weekend on the NFL on Sunday, because Tony Romo is playing in the Safeway Open PGA Tour event. He's an amateur. He can't accept any prize money if he made the cut. And he's had these opportunities before, not a lot, but he hasn't. He hasn't made the cut. Well, yesterday he shot a 2 under 70, which was better than the likes of Phil Mickelson and Brandt Snedeker and other big names, Hideki Matsuyama, on and on. So he will go this afternoon. Right now, the projected cut is -1. It'll still be a challenge for Tony Romo. They're playing out in Napa, California, but so far, so good with his opportunity to try to make the cut. But again, he's an amateur, and he will stay an amateur. If he does make the cut, he will refuse the prize money.
So yesterday, the NBA announced a new experimental rule that will be used in the G League this year, which is causing a lot of people to freak out. Basically, no matter what the foul situation is when you are fouled shooting the basketball, you will just shoot one free throw. So if it was if you're foul shooting a 3-pointer, you will shoot one free throw to get 3 points. If you're foul shooting a 2-pointer, you'll shoot one free throw to try and get 2 points. They're doing it to try and speed the game up a little bit. People are freaking out. First of all, let me tell you this. Just because they're experimenting with it in the G League doesn't mean it's ever going to make an appearance in the NBA. And two, let's just see how it actually works before you freak out and act like they've ruined the game of basketball for everybody. It's okay. That's what they use the G League for a lot of this stuff. Some of the rules work out well, and they've adapted them, like the 14-second shot clock after on an offensive rebound. They're going to the challenges in the NBA like they did in the G League. Others they've used in the G League have not made it to the NBA. Let's just, everybody relax. It isn't ruining the game of basketball. Let's just see how it works in the G League, and if they ever decide to even possibly put it in the NBA.
I would be willing to give a lot of things a chance, and I'll be willing to sit there and give this a chance. It's not like that I have a dog in the fight. On the surface, I don't like it at all. At all. But I completely understand where you're coming from. Let's see what happens. Maybe they'll win me over. Big thanks to our great guests this week and all week long. But today, John Varlas, Drew Hill, and Barrett Sallee. We want to thank you folks for listening to the program, for your emails and your texts and your tweets. We certainly appreciate that. Stay tuned. Johnny Radio's Happy Hour. It is coming up next. Monday, we'll be at FedEx Forum. We'll bring you all the interviews with the Grizzlies, as it's Grizzlies Media Day. For Austin Eldridge and Eli Savoie, I'm Greg Gaston. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Must think I'm dumb as a rock. Reading